Warning: the following contains explicit language and subject matter that may not be suitable for younger listeners, church folk, and people who enjoy kale smoothies.
This is going to be a little freewheeling tonight. I wanted to keep it loose so we have fun since I have nothing else to do this whole weekend. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to A Pod Amongst Men. I'm your host, Steve B., and these are Coffee Break Conversations for the 21st Century. Round two, buddies. Round two, fellas. I'm back, joined by the hosts of the Introverted Intuition podcast. I got best-selling author. See his beautiful face all over Times Square, Jeff Kelly.
Out here.
Hello. I'm back in the building. Happy to be back.
My man C.R., best hats in the game.
You feel me? Get your beanies today.
I was gonna wear mine, but I'm like, no, he's gonna have his on. I don't wanna look
We
silly.
could have been twinning.
Chill. We gotta say one of the best artists out of Jersey, if not the best.
I'm a show and prove. I got a lot more work to do,
Yeah.
which y'all definitely gonna see.
Yeah.
So before we started recording, we were talking about Marvel movies. I'm such a nerd with this stuff. You know, like I grew up reading the comics and watching like whatever cartoons were out at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So now seeing like the massive success of the whole thing in the movies, like I feel like I've grown up with it, and then to hear people trash it, I get real sensitive about that stuff.
Because you have like a sentimental connection to it.
Yeah.
You have a true value for it.
I'm more of the movie person as opposed to comic books. I never gravitated towards comic books growing up.
Really?
You know, and I like how they look. The covers are always really dope, but reading them, sitting down, reading them, nah, that was never for me. Give me the movies.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I was more of the movie guy too. Like I did have comic books though because I like to draw. So it was the art of the actual comic books that attracted me. And sometimes I'd read some of the stories, but mainly, yeah, I mean, I was a TV movie guy most of my time.
I would read
growing up.
manga and like, of course, books and stuff. But
Well, I mean, that technically counts as a comic book. It's just from Japan, and it goes the opposite direction.
I did
Very
have one
true.
of those books. I did
True.
have one of those.
I kind of look at manga as more so. They're kind of mostly longer for the most part than a comic book is. I feel like comic books are maybe like 30 pages, 40 pages max.
Well, I mean, technically, isn't like if you buy like the manga where it's like in the paperback form,
Yeah.
like that's literally like 4 or 5 issues all in one. That's like buying like the graphic novel version of the comics,
True.
where it's like a whole bunch put together.
True.
Do they make mangas in color? Everything's always been black and white that I've ever seen.
Yeah, there's definitely a few, but it's not. It's definitely good because I feel like it adds more context to what's actually going on, the colors and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the black and white is more authentic. I feel like it's just
Classic.
yeah.
Which ones did you guys read?
Oh shit, man! I owned like a lot of the early like Naruto mangas and just a few random ones. I didn't get too heavily invested. I didn't spend all my money on it. I didn't like beg to go to the manga shop or whatever. But I had a few just of like the most popular animes in manga form.
I honestly don't remember which ones. It was just random, but I remember what shows I was watching. I was watching Inuyasha. I was watching
Inuyasha. That's
that
I
was
never
my
got
shit.
into that one, but I always like saw. I'm one of these days I'm gonna start it.
It was so good.
I
That
never
one
never
remember.
finished it.
I remember that one. Yeah.
I never finished Dragon Ball Z.
That's my favorite
What?
growing up. Like I watched it like literally religiously. I had so many fucking action figures, Goku action figures, Vegeta, Gohan. Like when I say I was obsessed, I really thought one of my friends convinced me that he could Kamehameha. Like I was like he said he was in the car while his mom was driving
Yeah.
and he was like focusing his energy and he saw a spark and I was like, no way. And I wanted him to show me how to do it. I loved Dragon Ball Z.
And I see the kid in school who's like just a little off, like the weird kid.
Yeah.
Thinks if he just like screams and
Yeah.
like squeezes hard
He'll
enough, he's
power
gonna
up.
turn Super Saiyan.
I was in the fucking anime club in my high school.
So was I.
I was in a
Yeah.
Yu-Gi-Oh club.
There was a
Yu-Gi-Oh
Yu-Gi-Oh
was
down.
out. Yeah, they had one at my school. I was at school one in Linden, and that's when Yu-Gi-Oh was big. And we would meet up after school. Like it was a teacher who ran it, and you just battle people. You have your deck, and it was. I was a nerd.
Hey, there's no shit.
Hey.
I mean, look at this place. There's no judgment here whatsoever. I got my kid into that. We started watching Pokemon. I apologize to anybody who listens to the show because I talked about this a lot. But that's what we started on. I'm like, you watch this show. I watched it when I was young. You're gonna love it. He said, "Yo, okay." Next thing you know, started the obsession, and everything became Pokemon. So now him and his little buddies, they play like Roblox and stuff online, and they play all these different anime games. And they're like, "Oh, did you watch this anime? You're a weeb, bro. I'm a weeb too." And that kid's not a real weeb, and they just start like you see how it all starts, like the whole gatekeeping thing.
Wow.
But they're watching like Demon Slayer and they're watching Naruto. But we start, he's got to practice reading for school. So what I did is I took him to the comic book store in town. They have the big manga section. You pick out any 4, and that's what we'll read at night. That way it's something you like.
That's so
Oh,
cool.
awesome.
That's
So
cool.
we've been reading My Hero Academia.
I feel like that's the most exciting part about being a parent is introducing your kids to the stuff that you grew up on. That sounds so lit.
I look forward to that.
Honestly,
I look forward to that.
it's a roll of the dice, man, because you don't know if they're going to like it. Because if they don't like it,
it hurts.
it hurts a lot.
Right.
I
That's
can't
true.
for the life of me get the kid into Star Wars.
Mm.
He thinks, Baby Yoda is cute. I'm like, first of all, his name is fucking Grogu, okay? And second of all, like, there's a lot more to it than that. He just, it didn't catch. And that it's still near and dear to my heart. But,
You might want to kill me. I've never seen the original 3 Star Wars.
Yeah.
I've seen every film after that. I've never seen the original 3.
Really?
Yeah, and I own them, but I just never took the time to sit down and watch them.
They were long though.
They're not that long.
No.
Not really. I mean,
2.5 hours?
you ever watch Lord of the
Yeah.
Rings? That's like
Never.
twice the length.
Never watched
What?
that
The
shit.
whole Lord of the Rings is like what?
Well-
3.5 hours?
If you watch like the full versions, because they come with like the extended versions with all the footage, they're long, man. They're long.
Like The Irishman. You guys ever seen that movie?
I wanted
Yeah.
to.
It took me 3 days.
It took me 2. It took me 2. I was a little disappointed in that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never seen the Lord of the Rings movies. I don't like that type of setting, the old Dungeons and Dragons.
Mhm.
Fantasy.
Yeah, I don't hate. But Game of Thrones was the version of that type of content that I enjoyed. Anything else, I think I can get into it.
Yeah, I think with Game of Thrones, like that whole setting was just the backdrop. It wasn't like the main gist of the
Right.
story. Like it's
Yeah.
a character-driven show.
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings is a little more like
The
mystical,
setting
and,
and mystical. Yeah. More
elves
fantasy.
and dwarves and
Yeah.
Right.
ants and shit. They're good movies. Don't get me
Yeah.
wrong, but it's a little weird. Sometimes the language gets a little in the way.
The furthest
They're like,
I,
"Wait, what the fuck is this guy talking about?"
Yeah.
the furthest I really went with fantasy for me was like Harry Potter. I was really big into
Mhm.
Harry Potter. Like I read the books, I saw the movies. I even went to a Harry Potter convention in Manhattan one time
Really?
with a
Nice.
girl. Yeah, she was hot.
Let me ask you, what house are you?
I think. I feel like.
You're wearing a yellow hat, so
Like a
we're already
Dumbledore-
leaning one way.
Right, that's the Dumbledore, right?
No, it's Hufflepuff.
Hufflepuff. Oh, I don't remember Hufflepuff. I remember Dumbledore, and I remember what's the snake one?
Slytherin.
Slytherin.
Dumbledore was the headmaster. That wasn't one of the houses.
Oh, okay, that wasn't one of the houses. I don't remember all that. I definitely don't remember all that.
I hate Harry Potter.
What?
I've seen all the movies. I remember liking the 4th one, The Goblet of Fire.
That was good. That was
I
a good book.
I went to a Hufflepuff show. It was like a play in the city. Same thing. I was with a girl as well, and that was cool. But I just can't get into the world. Like, first of all, there's no black people in Harry Potter. I don't like that. Second,
There's not many though.
I
Right.
don't like Harry himself. I don't like
Yeah.
the fact. I feel like there should be some sub stories to the context of the, because the world is so dope, right?
Mhm.
Like, so vast, but it's like we're focused on this kid with the fucking lightning bolt in his forehead.
Well, I mean, he is technically like the chosen one kind of thing, so that's kind of why it bothers him.
I like Ron. He was cool.
Ron was funny.
But I mean, there's plenty of stuff going on with the other characters. It doesn't like go off and follow other characters the way like Game of Thrones would. Like Harry is definitely
the main
guy.
the protagonist.
But there was like at least one cool black character, Kingsley Shacklebolt.
I don't remember.
So they had like there's things called Aurors. They're basically like the government agents of like the magic world. So they fight the dark wizards and stuff. And Kingsley Shacklebolt was one of the toughest guys. But I mean, he didn't have like a huge role, but they keep mentioning him. He keeps showing up, and they always like kind of like, oh, Kingsley's here. All right, we got something here. We're not gonna get our asses whooped that bad, at least.
I like the main bad guy too. I don't remember his name.
Voldemort.
He who must not be named.
Right.
He was
he was tough. He was
creepy.
badass. I
Genuinely
always like
creepy.
villains.
Yeah.
Who's your favorite villain?
My favorite villain.
Yes. Give me your top 3 favorite
Ooh,
villains.
favorite villain.
Yes.
I'm gonna say David Tennant playing Kilgrave in the show Jessica Jones.
Oh, that was good.
Now,
yes.
yeah.
That was good.
Now,
That
I don't
was
think
good.
that the show was okay,
Right.
but him playing that role. Now, you ever watch it?
I never saw Jessica Jones. I saw the Defenders and all that
Kilgrave.
shit.
So Kilgrave essentially was in the comics. He was called the Purple Man because his skin was purple, but his power was, and he could talk to people and make them do whatever he said. It was something like a pheromone that came off from his body. When people would like hear his voice, they would just do what he said, but it would like last a while. So like they did a thing in the show where he was like walking down the street, some guy bumped into him, and he goes, "Stand and face that wall forever." The guy just walks and stands there, and then you don't think anything of it, and then it shows like an episode later, they come back to the same place, and they're just walking by, and the guy's still standing there. He like pissed himself, and he's like shivering and stuff.
Right.
It's fucked up, and just the way that this guy would fuck with people, it was like he was so good. But then you see how he evolved from like a little kid who discovered these powers, and how he fucked with his parents and stuff like that, and he just became this guy who had no regard for human life at all, and he was just like a complete sociopath. But it was so good. There was like a couple times where you almost feel bad for him, and man, fuck this guy.
Right,
Yeah,
almost, but like when
Yeah.
it came to love, because you think about it, it was like he could never know if somebody really loved him
Mm-hmm.
because they would just do anything he says. So it was just like,
So he was like this like tortured kind of guy, but he still just did whatever he wanted.
yeah.
Like it was crazy. He would just like walk into somebody's apartment,
Right.
and he's like, "Hey kids, go stay in the closet." And, he'd just sit there. And he would tell the mother and the husband and wife, like, "All right, start cooking. Like I like fish." And he would just sit there, put his feet up on the couch, and they couldn't help
They couldn't
themselves.
stop.
Fucking crazy.
It's terrifying. Imagine like somebody like that walking around.
Just telling
Yeah.
people what to do. And it
I feel like I could tap into that type of power if I tried.
What?
I mean, that's the type of like, I don't know. That's the type. I feel like that's like type of like charisma, personality. Like it's not like, I mean, it's manipulation, of course, but
Mhm.
you know, I feel like certain people have certain energy. When they walk into a room, people stand up, put their back straight. You
Mhm.
know what I mean. But I don't know. I feel like we all kind of tap into that power if we try.
But we're talking about this guy would
Yeah,
literally.
this was like a
he-
superpower.
He would tell
Oh,
you.
it's literally a power.
It was
he
a
would-
superpower.
He could walk in a
Superpower.
room and tell you to cut your hand off, and you do it.
Oh shit! Fuck
Like he
that. Never
didn't he
mind.
tell the one guy to put his hand in the blender or
Yes.
something?
Oh,
Like he told this one, there was like a lesbian couple, and he wanted to kill the one, but what he did is he told the girlfriend, and he said, "No, death by 1,000 cuts." So the girlfriend, she couldn't stop. She physically was just slashing her like over and over and over, like he like kills people. Like it's very fucked up.
That reminds me of an anime character. Have you seen the anime Death Note? The main character is basically a villain, right?
I didn't watch it.
So basically, anything he would write in this notebook will happen. I guess not like it wasn't really truly manipulation, but like he would write out scenarios and then it would happen. So for example, he would tell this girl to go kill herself, and it's kind of like that in a sense. Like he was really intelligent, but he was super manipulative, and like anything he would want to happen, he wrote in that notebook would happen. And I think that's like one of my favorite villains, even though you didn't ask me that. It wasn't my turn to answer that, but that's like one of my
No, it was.
favorite
We were
it was
gonna
a question
keep
for
going,
everybody.
yeah, okay, yeah. That guy, you took me back to Daredevil season 1. The guy the way who portrayed Fisk.
Oh,
I don't remember. I don't know
Vincent
the actor's name.
D'Onofrio.
Yeah, he was really good.
He was great. Do you know that that's the same guy who played the Bug in Men in Black?
Oh
first Men in Black?
wow!
Really?
Did you ever pull the wings off a fly?
Really?
Yeah,
Damn.
same dude. And he was also Private Pile in Full Metal Jacket.
Mm.
All right,
For-
CR, who's your favorite villain?
For me, it will always be the Heath Ledger Joker. Will always be my favorite villain. Joker in general. I
Mhm.
like all versions of Joker because I just like the sadistic, crazy, bipolar,
Just full-on
just-
chaos.
Just chaos. I like chaos in
Mhm.
a villain, but there's class to him. You know what I mean? He's crazy as hell, but he's still sophisticated, and I like
Yeah.
that. It's
He's
just
he's
cool.
crazy, but he's not stupid.
Right,
Right,
he's
facts.
intelligent.
Yeah,
Yeah.
everything he's doing is for a reason, whether you
deliberate.
know it or not.
It's
Yeah.
very deliberate. He's a mastermind. That's what I liked about the Joker.
The way he played that was just, I mean, listen, it's been said to death, but he was brilliant in that.
Yeah.
You know,
Brilliant.
I'm an agent of chaos.
That role is so impactful, but like Heath Ledger has actually other good movies.
So
Yeah.
many.
No,
He was like a really great actor.
Yeah.
Who was now? Think of like anti-heroes, or not like a hero, but
Mhm.
just like, I think just. Cause all right, so I'm thinking. You ever see Tombstone?
No.
No, I don't like westerns, but this is the only western I like
Mhm.
because of Val Kilmer playing Doc Holliday, and he's so good. This is one of those roles where he steals every scene he's in,
Mm.
the whole movie. And there's some heavy hitters in that movie,
Mm.
and he fucking kills it. He's just the most badass. He's like a drunk, and he's got tuberculosis, so he's kind of sickly, but he's just like one of the fucking baddest gunfighters out there. And he's kind of a bad guy, but he's friends with Wyatt Earp, so he hangs out with him. And everybody says, "Oh, why are you doing this, Doc?" He's like, "Why? It's my friend." He goes, "Shit, I got a lot of friends." I don't.
Okay.
Rebel with a cause.
Yeah, that sounds like an appealing Western. I'm not really into them either, but if like the acting's good, you'll get me in any movie.
That one, I'm telling you, that's one of the best roles ever put to film. Val Kilmer as Doc Holliday. Is there anybody that like stands out to you that was like a scene stealer? Aside of course from like Heath Ledger, because that was clearly one of those roles. Every time he's on screen, you can't look away.
Tom Hardy in The Revenant. Every scene that he was in, he killed it. Outside of like Leo, obviously didn't really have much dialogue. I think Tom Hardy, that's one of his best roles.
Yeah.
And in Bronson too, but like The Revenant, Tom Hardy.
Dude, Bronson was a weird one.
Yeah.
That was weird.
You see Legend too. He played like
played the Craze.
Yeah.
Ronnie and Reggie. I saw the original movie, The Craze, because they were real guys in England, and they made a movie in the '80s about them, and it was done like kind of weird. It wasn't just like a straight up action or mob flick. Like it was kind of a little artsy and like they tried to do weird things. But like that one was good. But what Tom Hardy played it, like he played it up a little bit. Like he played the normal one, was it Reggie, I think?
Something like that, yeah.
And then the crazy one was Ronnie.
Yeah.
And that when he played Ronnie, he really he dove into it.
Yeah.
So, why are you here?
Yeah.
Like he really laid it on thick.
Yeah, I love that movie. I haven't seen it in a minute, but
I don't know if this counts, but Vin Diesel and Triple X, like to me, like he was just like he played that character so well. Like he was just a badass who didn't care, but he still was like down to do the right thing.
See, if you're gonna say Vin Diesel, I would have thought you would have said like Riddick.
Oh, of course. Oh yeah, Pitch Black. I forgot about that.
That was the movie that put him on the map.
All right, I changed my answer. It's Pitch Black. It's Riddick. Chronicles of Riddick. It's all of that. Like, yeah, he bodied that role. He did a great fucking job with that role.
I could think of two other ones, I think scene stealers.
What?
So you got Denzel in Training Day, which I just watched the other night.
I gotta watch that again.
I remember why everybody liked
this.
It.
I miss it. I gotta watch it again.
He's so good because he plays it like so cool.
Yeah.
But then as the movie goes on and you learn more about him, you realize like, oh, he's like overcompensating. Like he's actually got a lot of shit going on underneath the surface, you know. And you can see that facade start to crack as the story continues.
Right.
So that one and Anthony Hopkins as Hannibal Lecter.
Yeah, I remember.
See you again,
I remember seeing that DVD cover in like Targets or Walmart's growing up as a kid. I remember being freaked the fuck out, and seeing the movie didn't change, still freaked out. You know, like damn, that's for sure.
That's one of my favorites. I got to say, De Niro in Taxi Driver.
Did I see that?
I know you've heard this line. You talking to me?
Oh, of course.
Yes.
Well, I'm the only one here. But
that's where that came from?
That's where that comes from. That's an old movie. Scorsese did it. But the thing I love about that movie is he fucking nailed just like the intricacies where it's like he's kind of crazy, but he's not like mentally disabled or anything like that. He's just fucking weird. You know, like one of those people that's just weird. Like there's nothing clinically really like wrong with them.
Yeah.
You don't have... They're not, like to the extreme. Yeah. Like everybody knows at least one person like that.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he did it, and plus the guy has like insomnia, and he starts like losing it as the movie goes on. Like he's already weird to start, and then it just gets worse and worse, and he goes nuts. But then he's like talking in the mirror. He like rigged up this thing. He like cut a rail off a drawer, and he rigged up a little gun. And like with the slide, so he could hide it up his sleeve. Right. Think he's gonna be like a vigilante and like take down like the scum in like old school like fucked up New York.
Right.
So he's like trying it out. He's like fucking with it in the mirror, and he's just looking.
I'm trying to Google a movie.
I got another one.
What do you got?
I can't remember the actor's name.
And I don't care. I will stand by this until the day I die. Tobey Maguire, Spider-Man 1.
You think he steals it? Because I gotta be honest. I'm not saying this to be a dick, but Toby is my least favorite of all the Spider-Mans by a lot. Like I was
over Andrew Garfield. You're out of your.
I thought Andrew Garfield was great. I thought the movie was weak, but him playing the role, because he could do funny, he could do serious, and he looks the part. I thought Toby was a little too like whiny.
I get it.
You know what I mean?
I get it. I did like that Spider-Man because it felt like it was more emotional and more real. Like it wasn't like the newer Spider, like the Amazing Spider-Man, whoever played that role, I forgot his name.
Andrew Garfield.
Yeah, that was Andrew Garfield. Like it was funny and it was cool. It was fresh. It was like, millennial. You know what I'm saying? But when Tobey Maguire played that first Spider-Man, I grew up on that. I watched that movie so many times. I had an emotional attachment to everything he went through. Like when Uncle Ben died, down to when he let the guy go. The guy was he was right. I used to say that line all the time. Get that guy.
Don't you love those little throwaway lines in the movie that you just latch onto?
I think Toby was great. He was great, like more serious. Andrew Garfield was better, more like as the funny role.
Yeah.
And then Tom Holland's just the perfect storm.
Yeah.
You know?
I thought I just hated that with Andrew Garfield, especially towards the end of the second movie. They made it like so sad, so heavy. I'm like, I get it, it's sad, but that's not really what Spider-Man's supposed to be. Like his whole thing is that he's gone through all this traumatic, terrible shit, that he uses the humor as a defense to mask it. So that's why he's always,
Goofy.
making jokes and shit. And with that, they made him like a sad boy,
When you saw Jamie Foxx as Electro, you probably should have known what was happening.
I mean, he looked kind of close to what Electro looked like in the Ultimate X-Men, Ultimate Spider-Man in the comics, but it completely changed what the character is, But I mean, I like Jamie Foxx.
Yeah.
I can't be mad at him.
Taking the role.
Yeah,
Take a risk.
that's a perfect example. Like the studios were like at their fingers and everything.
Yeah.
Like, we want this villain, we want that, and they just packed it.
Right.
So we went off on that one.
We did.
Why don't you tell us about this book, Jeff? Now,
Oh,
I
God.
wake up to Instagram
Yeah.
and I see a picture of Times Square with this man's beautiful face holding up his best-selling book.
This guy.
What the fuck is going on, man?
This nigga's he's got such a goddamn star. He's a star, yo.
I mean,
We were sitting next to a millionaire.
For real.
Another throwaway
I'm working
line from
towards
Forrest
6
Gump.
figures.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm working towards 6 figures. That's the goal for the end of the year with the book. But yeah, I think I talked about it a bit last time we were here.
You mentioned it was in the works.
Yeah, it was pretty much done at that point, and yeah, it came out February 28th, and it went #1 on Amazon the day of, and it was the #1 for like 3 days, and then I got this opportunity through a Zoom call I didn't want to go to get my face and book on a billboard in Times Square, and here it is. It's there now. It's going to be there for a month till April 12th.
Fucking A, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's major.
Yeah, I did pay $500, but it's worth it.
It was
500 for your. How many people can say that they're smiling faces up in Times Square, like the center
many
of the
people can say
fucking
that.
known universe?
It is crazy because yesterday, like, I was doing a photo shoot in Harlem, and like, I was expecting it was gonna take like a few days to get the billboard up, but like, no, the lady texted me. She was like, "Yo, it's up. Go now." And I was by myself at the time, and then I just like, out of excitement, like, I just told this girl I'm talking to, like, and she like came from Jersey to New York just to come and support me and like take a picture of me. So like, if I didn't if she didn't show up, I probably wouldn't have had like. I guess I could have taken the pictures myself, but it probably wouldn't look as cool.
Mhm.
I wouldn't have been standing in front of it, But yeah, that moment was crazy. Like, there were tourists around, so obviously just people were just out there, like, taking pictures of the billboards and stuff, and people were like watching me and like walking up to me and asking me like, "Yo, why are you like? Do you know that person on the billboard?" And I'm like, I actually pulled my mask down, like, that's me. And they were like, "Oh shit, like that's so dope." And I was like talking to people about the book, and people were buying the book on the spot at Times Square.
No shit, man.
And it's just crazy, man.
That's
It's so fucking crazy, It's
Yo,
fucking crazy.
What you know what you should do if it's ever possible? I don't know, like if you could do this, but if you could ever do like a pop-up book signing in front of the billboard or something like that,
I would like to.
like or even if it's for another release, but that would be a great idea. Just because you just like made me visualize you standing there, people asking about the book and everything, and like right then and there, a lot of people would buy it.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, I don't know if you guys saw, but like the billboard, that's not the only image on the billboard. Like, there's other ads on the billboard, so it like rotates. So like,
Oh, okay, it's
yeah,
digital.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
digital,
okay.
but it stays there for a bit, which is cool.
That's so cool though. You're
Yeah,
still there.
it's so fucking dope, man. It's cool.
So tell me a little bit about the book. Like, what's the book all about? I can't fucking speak.
The book is called The
It's good
Avenue,
rum.
a Personal Dictionary, and it is a self-reflective tale about my desire to find healing and change while battling my depression and my insecurities. So the book itself was just meant for me to. Originally, when I was writing it, I just wanted to understand myself and figure out who I am, why the way I am, and why I exist. And I just needed to. Prior to writing the book, I would always rely on outside sources, external sources like friends, relationships, therapy to try to find myself. But those things, they were working, they were doing what they could, but they weren't benefiting me long term. So I needed to really take a bit of time and really focus and self reflect on my own and just figure out who I am. So I wrote it in dictionary format. I chose 59 words that are representative of my character in my life, and I just wrote about my thoughts and experiences with that word. And at the end of it, I feel like I came out with a better understanding of myself than I did going into it.
So, I mean, like, and then you say you're kind of trying to find yourself and discover who you are. Were you like trying to work through any kind of like trauma or like anything that happened to you, or just trying to kind of figure out who you are as a person, where your place is in the world?
Well, yeah, like I've always suffered from depression and stuff. I've always like had issues in my life that I didn't really acknowledge. Like I wouldn't take accountability for a lot of things. I didn't accept the fact that I didn't have a father, so I needed to really face that and acknowledge that in order to potentially get over that. I guess the real trigger point that made me want to finish this book was my most recent breakup, because I was the sole reason for the breakup. I affected this girl's mental health on a level that I really regret. I really hurt her in a lot of ways, and full transparency, like we are good now, thankfully. But once that relationship ended, I felt like, because I had always felt like I had a high understanding of myself, but this person's over here in the corner crying over my behavior, and I can't understand why. And once I kind of all that reality settled into, I was like, yo, I need to figure out what's going on, because I don't know myself as well as I think I am, and people are being hurt by this shit. So, I needed to figure out who I was in order to heal and protect other people who come into my life going forward.
See, I always wonder about stuff like that. Like we look at our own behavior and like the patterns that we elicit all throughout our lives. But I always try to wonder where that stuff comes from. Like, where does that behavior take root? Like, is it genetic? Is it something that we learned, like, from watching someone else? Is it something we picked up from, like, friends or something? Was it a defense mechanism to kind of compensate for something else? You know what I mean? Like, is there anything interesting you found? Because, well, like, leading up to this episode, like, before you guys got here, I was thinking about things that scar you, things that leave a mark, like life experiences. And, as I was looking at, like, stuff on the book, about the book online, I want to try to see if we can kind of get into this, like our own past experiences, shit that happened to us. The stuff that makes us who we are. So like would you say that, like, coming up, like obviously you mentioned your father not being there was something big for you. Like, would you say that was like something that affected a lot of that behavior? Like, what did you find?
Yeah, that for sure. I realized I was more insecure than I thought I was. Like, during the process of writing about like my insecurities in certain chapters, it took me back to my days in high school where I would get made fun of a lot. I was like 80 pounds, super skinny. Nose is still big, but I feel like it seemed a lot bigger when you were skinny because my face was skinnier.
And no facial hair.
Yeah. So like I really got made fun of a lot, and I didn't realize how bad that really affected me. And I remember writing a chapter specifically referencing a specific guy who bullied me, one of the first people to ever bully me. His name was Kyle Reeves, and I just never forgot that. And during that time of writing it kind of like triggered me a bit, because it's like, damn, this is years and years later. Why the fuck does this still bother me? And it's like, yeah, because you're insecure. And yeah,
I knew it. I had like a bully, but someone who like stands out in my mind, who like tried to fuck with me, and I was just like, fuck. Like I'm not a big guy, so especially in high school, I was even smaller. And everybody just seemed fucking bigger than me. So these guys, it's just, you say the wrong thing. And next thing you know, now they're on you. And this fucking guy, Nick, I could say his last name because I'm sure people that listen might know. But, yeah, man, this fucking guy was always trying me. And he knew that I wasn't going to do anything. I was a little pussy back then. Like, what's the fucked up thing? I actually, I've been studying martial arts since I was 6 years old. So I knew how to fight.
You was in Tiger Showmans and all that?
No. So my biological father lived in Pennsylvania when I was growing up. My parents split when I was 3. But he was a martial arts instructor. So from the second he opened a school and started teaching, I was his first student. So I learned everything he had to teach. You know, I mean, most of it, I guess, at least. But I was doing martial arts all the time, like heavy. And then in high school, I ended up moving out to Pennsylvania to live with my dad. So that even became my job at one point, teaching classes for him. Like, that was what I did. And it was like, I was always terrified to fight.
It was just, you didn't have the confidence.
Yeah, I mean, I was a little guy. And I was used to, eventually, when I was in high school, I was too old for the kids' classes. I ended up being in the adult classes. So now I'm not like the best guy in the kids' class. I'm the smallest guy in the adult class. So now, like, I'm used to dealing with big dudes.
Yeah.
And it's still, like, I always, like, fuck it. Like, I don't want nothing to do with it. You know, I would always.
Fear. It was fear.
Yeah. Like, I was always afraid as a kid.
At that age, when you're that young, it's so hard to conquer fear because you've never, you know what I'm saying? You've never had to deal with this before. If it's your first time really dealing with this level of confrontation, it's like, you know what I'm saying? It's difficult for you to know how to be brave in that moment. You know what I'm saying? Like, for me, the one time I ever ran, and the last time I ever ran from some dudes, I was living in Roselle, and I was by my old middle school. It was me and my boy, and we were riding our bikes, and we saw a couple of our friends. We started talking to our friends, and then a whole group of guys came, and they were wearing red bandanas, and they were coming up to us. So at that time, I didn't know nothing about the streets. I was sheltered. My parents tried their best to keep me from that influence. So as soon as I see now, I'm thinking gangster people, and I'm just like, I need to get out of here. Like, that's literally what I was thinking. Because also my friend at the time, I'm not gonna lie, he was a bitch ass. You know what I'm saying? So he thought the same way. He's like, "Yo, those are gangster people. We gotta get the fuck out of here." So he was skinnier than me, so he was out.
Fast as hell.
He was on his bike and I was on my bike, but he was gone on him, right? And then I'm riding my bike trying to be out too. Then the two friends that we had seen originally, they didn't run. They stood their ground, and they didn't get picked on. They said what's up to the guys. They actually shook their hands. Then the guys left them and started chasing me and my boy.
Yeah, they respected them for having the balls to stand up.
Exactly. And then, you know, my bitch ass, I'm on my bike, chubby as hell, trying to go up this big-ass hill on Wood Avenue. Trying to get to St. George. And my boy Royce, he's already on the other side of St. George. And he went from Roselle to Linden. He's already past Walgreens. And I'm just like, fuck, I'm out of breath. Then these motherfuckers catch up to me. And then I'm just standing there looking. I don't say anything. I'm just, I'm shitting my pants. I'm just scared. Yeah. And they're older than me too. Like, you know what I'm saying? These guys are like 16. Word. You know what I'm saying? I'm like fucking 12. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just like fucking scared. Next thing you know, they start pushing me. They slap me in my face. And I just didn't do anything. And I was so scared. Yeah. I was so fucking scared.
That fear is like paralyzing.
It's paralyzing.
Right?
I was so scared. I didn't know what to do. Then they actually just felt bad for me and just left me alone.
This isn't even fun anymore.
It's not even fun. He's not even trying to fight back. Right. And they just left me there. And then I rode my bike back home. I went in my backyard. And I went in my kitchen. And I cried like a bitch.
That's such a shitty feeling, man.
Such a shitty feeling.
You know what?
Pivotal moment though.
Yeah, but that shit like it stays with you. Like think of how clearly you remember that.
Forever. I remember everything. I remember when my friend, it was Dwight. Dwight came back to my house that day, and he saw me through my back door because we had a slide door to the deck, and he came to pick up his bike or something, and he saw me. I didn't want to talk to him because I was so embarrassed. You know what I'm saying? I was just so embarrassed. And after that, bro, I swear to God, that's when I started lifting weights. And then ever since then, literally ever since then, and I've been around some tough motherfuckers, I never got tried ever again, bro. Because I said I'll never run. I'll never run again, yo.
You know what I think about? Like, consider like when you're trying to like, say, you ever see those like the stress thingers? It's like a little bag almost filled with liquid. It's like an old school thing where you squeeze it and it'll like pop out one side and you try to squeeze it and it'll slide out the other. You know, one of those things? Yeah. I feel like with us, we're like people are like that. Like when the pressure is applied, wherever there's an opening, they're going to try to find a way out. You know what I mean? Whether consciously or subconsciously. So if it's something like that where somebody's going to try you or something, somebody wants to fight you, if there's a way to not fight, we're going to figure it out.
Flight.
You know what I mean?
It's the fight or flight instinct.
Yeah, and you know, it's only in certain situations where there's no way out, where you have to fight. It's either fight or ball up, and you know, who wants to do that? But
there are some people who may look at it as if like every situation there's no way out, so they have to defend themselves.
And that's literally the result of that trauma that happened to me. And I'm just naturally defensive.
Yeah.
I'm always ready. You know what I'm saying? I'm always on edge. And it's like some people can feel that energy, and I think that's why sometimes I don't get tried, but it's not healthy either, because it's just like I know, like, if anybody ever tried me, I'd have so much pain and anger from years and years that it would really be dangerous.
You're afraid to see it all spill out.
Exactly.
And we talked about this recently, like we were speaking about like confidence. I think that's at its core, that's what it is, confidence. They can feel that confidence, and like we were speaking about like how women have told us that they are intimidated by us in a way, and it's like it's not intentional. It's just how it's the energy we emit, you know.
Yeah.
So I think even as on the flip side, I can relate that to those guys who don't try you. Like
Yeah.
they feel that confidence. They can tell that you ain't pussy.
Right.
You know?
It's like I really am, like, if any, I don't care how big you are, I don't care how gangster you are, like, I'm ready. Like, if somebody try me, I'll be like, really? Like, yeah, all right. Like, let's do this shit. Like, that's how I feel now, because I've been waiting so long. Like, and it's just like, I don't know.
See, like for me, like my whole life, I've between studying martial arts and learning how to box and practicing that, like I feel like I spent so much time preparing for a fight, but in reality, what I ended up doing is becoming really good at avoiding a fight. You know what I mean? So it's like that little fucking ball, whatever you call it.
Yeah.
Like I found a way to just not even put myself in those situations
Exactly.
while still training at the same time.
get it.
And then like being good at the other thing, so never having to use it.
That,
Yeah.
You know?
that's true too. Like, I'm good with people. I'm good at settling problems. So I just, like, I avoided getting to that point, because, like I said, if it ever did get back to, because the last time I got in a fight, I broke somebody's leg, and he threatened to kill me. It was a Crip. He was a gang member, and like after I whipped him, he threatened to get a gun. So, and I was just a teenager. Now I'm a grown ass man. So
Yeah.
imagine, that's why I'm just like, I don't want to put myself in a position where somebody might want to actually kill me because I might have injured them or did something to them in a fight.
Mhm.
Right.
You know, because it's really possible that could happen. We're adults now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? People take shit to the extreme.
We
Well,
got shit to lose. So
We got shit to
time for that.
lose.
But that's a perfect example of like how ego becomes a thing where, excuse me, like our egos are so fragile that any blow to the ego becomes an existential crisis. You know,
Yeah.
if I don't prove that I'm a man, like that's it, my life is over.
Mm.
So this guy beat me in a fight. I have to kill him now.
Mhm.
That's the only logical conclusion.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like that's a very fragile ego,
It
and
is.
there's so many of us walking around with it, whether we realize it or not.
Men and women.
Yeah.
Anyone.
I mean, it's, you know, with men, I feel like it's a little different because the way we socialize, like if you see like a woman get beat up, like it's not like, oh, she's less of a woman now. You know what I mean?
That's true.
Right.
But if a man gets beat up, how you gonna look your kids in the face, bro?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can never go home.
Right? No,
For
but
real, bro.
that's
You
in
never
practice.
go
That's what it
home.
becomes. It's fucked up.
It is fucked up.
But I-
Society standards.
But I think that's one of the things that shapes us. Like we talk
Mm.
about how, you know, we avoid fights because as men we realize that there's always that threat of violence. You know, like behind that little veil of civility, there's a threat of real violence. Like it could go down. Like
can.
we might have to.
Anybody, anytime.
Yeah,
It's
like
just you
somebody
never
might try
know.
to put hands on us or someone we love, and
You have
know,
to
now it's
yes.
violence.
Right.
Whereas I feel like with women, because that's not kind of how they're brought up, not how they're socialized, where it's not always like a fist fight. Like maybe they curse at somebody and then they go home and that's the end of it.
Right.
Meanwhile, we might be the boyfriend or the husband where it's like, well, you were talking shit. Now I got to fight this girl's boyfriend. Like,
Yeah.
what are you doing to me here?
Yeah.
You know what?
You gotta
But that
defend
we
the title.
we measure how we act and what we say based off that real world threat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's always there, right below the surface. Like, babe, let's not do this here. Come on, babe. Come on, let's just leave because we know we might have to fight somebody.
It's a gender role.
Yeah.
It is a gender role because in those situations, it's always looked for the male to step in
Yeah.
and defend. So I agree with that.
And now, God forbid, something happens, something pops off, and you don't step up, or you do step up and you get fucking knocked out.
She doesn't feel
Or if
safe.
you got a gun and be like, shorty, you just got me killed. Like I'm gonna be yelling at her from heaven.
Exactly.
What's going on?
I feel like a lot of people don't respect that. You know, obviously, specifically women, like they don't realize
It's a
what,
real danger.
why we behave the way we behave, why we try to avoid it. At least those of us with good heads on our
That's
shoulders.
what I'm saying,
Very
because you want to live to see your kids graduate. You want to see your, you know what I'm saying? You don't want to be in jail for assault. You don't want to be in jail for aggravated assault or anything like that. Like, it's true. It's just not smart. And, you know, it takes a lot of self-control too to not allow yourself to just react in those situations.
Yeah.
Because there's some fucking rude ass motherfuckers in the world, man. There are, like, there's been plenty of times where I just really wanted to knock somebody out, but it's like, nah, I'm not gonna do that because first off, honestly, I'm a black man and I already know in any situation the perception is skewed. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
It's just I'm just automatically not gonna get the benefit of the doubt.
There's already going to be people looking at you sideways right
Automatically,
off
I'm the one who
We were
started
born
it.
on defense.
I'm the
Yeah.
thug. I'm the one who did it. You know what I'm saying? It's my fault. You know what I'm saying? Automatically. So it's just like to avoid all of that. There's a lot of times where, you know, I'm grateful that people don't disrespect me or anything because I would have to bite my tongue in certain situations. You know what I'm saying? But yeah.
I cope by just talking shit. I could talk shit.
That's it. That's really all I got. Is sarcasm and a slick mouth.
I'm gonna
because
disrespect you before I go home.
Yeah.
But if you touch me, then it's a wrap.
Right.
Let me ask you this: like the times when you see something has the possibility to escalate, and you just kind of like, listen, let's not get involved. Like you try to de-escalate. I know for me, there's been times when I could have easily just went the other way, and actually, you know, it becomes a brawl.
Mhm.
And then you think about it later, like, fuck, like I should have just fucking knocked that piece of shit out. And that's the thing I think that actually feels worse.
Yeah.
Like I would almost rather have the feeling of being knocked out than the feeling of
I should have fucking hit him.
exactly.
Right, I guess.
Yeah, it's kind of regret, but it's almost like, fuck. Do I look like a punk now? You know what I mean? It's almost like that. It adds to that insecurity because it's like now people think they could just say whatever they want to me. Is that what it is? Because I didn't do something. I was trying to be responsible. I didn't want to ruin the night.
No.
You know what I mean? And that stuff that fucks with you. And I feel like those instances piled up over time sometimes could have like negative effects. That's why you see somebody like overreact to the smallest thing.
The smallest
What the fuck is wrong with this guy?
Yeah,
No, that shit's been building up in him for 10 years.
and now that was a trigger.
But if you know yourself at your core and you're comfortable with who you are, that shit ain't gonna bother you. It's not gonna last to the next day. You'll go to sleep at night, and when you'll wake up the next morning, not even thinking about it. But if you're the type of person who's just like, man, I know what I would have done. I know I would have won.
Mm-hmm.
I don't give a fuck what people think. You know what I mean? That's
See,
just how I am.
I always think of it like this: like, there's no such thing as a sure thing
Right.
in my mind. So even if you see somebody, it could be 98 pounds soaking wet with a crucifix on. You know what I mean? Like, and that guy, you're like, I'm not gonna fight this fucking guy. And you think, yeah, I could have beat the shit out of that guy.
Yeah.
But in my mind, I always think maybe he knows something I don't.
Yeah.
You never know.
Maybe he doesn't fight fair. Maybe he had a knife.
Yeah.
We're gonna.
Because that's realistic too. There's
Maybe
a lot
he's
of
got
small-
one of those like Wild Wild West, like the blades that pops out of his boot. You know?
fucking blade out of your toe.
Yeah.
Fuck that. I don't got time.
That's what I'm saying. That's why it's like I have a lot of road rage. Like, and I'm a Lyft driver.
Well, you live in New Jersey. I
You
mean,
do.
yeah.
I'd be scared, yo. I'm not gonna lie.
I've literally I've pulled over and gotten ready to get out the car for certain people before. And this is how blind my rage could be because they had all tents. It was a truck. I don't know how many people was in there.
A pickup truck?
It was in a pickup truck. It was like a
Oh.
Jeep Cherokee.
So you gotta watch with those
Okay.
pickup trucks. You know, motherfuckers got
Oh, yeah,
shotguns
yeah,
and
yeah.
rifles and shit.
Hell yeah. I definitely want to watch out for those.
Got the American flag skull in the back window.
Yeah. But I was in Newark and I was driving one night and you know, this fucking car tried to cut me off. And no, they actually did, and I just got so mad and I just threw my fucking water bottle at them. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's just like I didn't care who was in that car.
Mhm.
I didn't care how they were gonna react.
Damn.
And I was in Newark. You know what I'm saying? You don't know who's in that car.
You're taking your chances on
Taking
that
my
one.
chances. And most of the time I've had issues, it was in Newark. And it's just crazy. I was proud of myself because one time there was this dude, and I was bullshitting. I ain't gonna lie. I was kind of like texting on my phone, you know, when it's on the dashboard for your GPS. And I was driving a little slow, and we got to a red light. And then he got up close to me, and he's like in the Range Rover, and he's looking at me, like staring at me mad hard, like he want to say something. I immediately just got angry because I'm just like, what the fuck you looking at me like that for? So I inched up and I put my window down. I said, what's up? And then he put his window. He's like, yo, can you drive? And in that moment, I was like, yo, and he was looking at me, and I'm just like, yo, what do I want to do right now? I was wrong. I was in the wrong, but I want to get out this car and fucking punch him in the face.
Ooh.
And he's definitely it was a New York nigga. He had a Yankees hat, like a regular New York black nigga. Like on the phone, he was just looking at me. I was just like,
Can you drive?
I was like, you know, and I was so proud of myself because I was just like, you know what? I don't have to prove nothing right now. I was wrong, and I said, you know what? My bad. That's what I said. I said, my bad.
Damn. I respect that.
And I said, and I was like, yo, I laughed when he said, "Can you drive?" Because I really was about to say some slick shit. I was thinking like, "Yo, should I be disrespectful?" I was just like, and I was just like,
He said, sorry, bro. I just left your girl's house. Legs are a little shaky. You know what I
Right?
mean?
and I was just like, "Yo," I was like, "Yo, you good?" And then he's like, "Yeah," and I was like, "All right, that's it."
No, I take my hat off to you.
I
Like
respect
that, it's not easy to swallow
It's
your
not
pride
easy.
like that.
That was hard. That was the most recent time, and I want to continue to do that because I don't want to fit the stereotype for angry black man.
Yeah, but you know what though?
saying?
If everybody did that, the world would be a much better place.
God no one.
Say so.
And I was wrong. I was wrong. I was texting and driving, and I was driving. I kept driving and then hitting my brakes, driving, hitting my brakes. I was being a dick. I'm not gonna lie, you know. But yeah, that's just to show you. Sometimes you gotta take accountability for your bullshit.
But that's huge. How many people can really do that?
Not a lot.
No,
A lot of people could say they do, but I mean, in reality,
I really did that.
'cause, I mean, look what comes with taking accountability, accepting the fact that you're wrong.
I was
Mhm.
wrong. I was
Kind
wrong
of
as
like
fuck.
some people interpret that as like feeling less than.
but that goes back to the ego.
Yeah.
Talk about it.
To say you were wrong is to say that that's a blemish on your ego right there. Hey, you fucked up. But in reality, so what? So what? Muhammad Ali wasn't undefeated.
Right.
That doesn't mean he wasn't the greatest.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's the way I always look at it. Like, okay, you fucked up. If you own it, then you
That
turn
makes
that
you more
fuck
of a
up.
man.
Yeah, then you learn from it. Now you're more than you were before.
Mhm.
And I don't know. I guess that's pretty hard of a concept for a lot of people.
I fell in love with accountability because of that idea of just knowing that, you know what, not a lot of people do this.
Mm-hmm.
And I like being a rarity. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, fuck it. Like, even in my relationships, I just learned how to, like, admit when I'm wrong and know when I'm, because, you know, the thing too, though, you can know you're doing toxic shit
Mm-hmm.
and that you're fucked up.
And you can't stop yourself.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
can't
Yeah.
stop yourself. You're like,
Feels
man,
good, kinda.
like there's one thing that I do that's so fucking toxic. When I first start talking to a chick and like I'm really feeling her, and let's say I text her and she doesn't text back,
Mm-hmm.
for some reason I feel ignored, and that shit pisses me off.
I mean, that's not a crazy thing to feel. I've felt exactly that.
Right, but in reality, it could be easily, she was at work. She
Yeah.
could have fell asleep. Maybe she's driving right now.
She
You know what
doesn't.
I'm
She doesn't
saying?
keep her phone in her pocket like guys do. She
Like
keeps it in her
guys
purse.
do.
She didn't feel it
Exactly.
go off.
Can I
Because
just
that's
say,
true.
I love what you're saying right now because I've seen the aftermath and when the text don't get responded to. I've seen the post on Instagram on this story when you're pissed off. And I'll be looking at them. I don't even want to hit you. I'll be like, there you go. But like, I don't be judging them because I feel them. Like I've been there. But
There's been times that shit got me in trouble. There's one chick that actually gave me another chance, even though I did that
Do
shit.
here. Pull this over to your left a little bit.
Oh.
Hey, grab the thing. There you go.
Like
Now when
this?
you talk into it, it'll sound loud.
Okay,
There you go.
is that better?
That's beautiful. You're
Okay.
beautiful.
So yeah, I actually had a situation where this chick, I hit her up. She didn't reply for mad long, and then I said something on Instagram that was totally a subliminal, and I knew it was immature, but I didn't care because I knew that was going to be the only way. Because you know what, she wasn't texting me back, but she was watching my story on Instagram,
that's some weird shit.
and
Yeah.
that shit was pissing me off.
That feels like a game to me.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're playing a game now. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna throw some bait out there, and I said something that I knew she would read and interpret it towards her. So I did that, and I was being
He
petty
just
as
wrote,
fuck.
bitches ain't shit.
I was like, when you finally get somebody your attention, and then they ignore you, that's what I said.
My ego is going so crazy right now, man. And I don't know if it's simply due to this best-selling author shit, but if somebody don't text me now, I just don't give a fuck because it's your loss.
Well, that's the way you got to look at it. But sometimes if you really feel something for somebody, you notice when they don't text you back.
But yeah, that shit he's talking about, looking at my story and not texting me back, don't
That's
do
weird. Yeah.
That's weird.
So when me and my wife first started dating, she lived in Miami, so everything was long distance, and we used to text through WhatsApp instead of regular text.
Mm.
And you could see like that, because I have an Android, she has an iPhone, so I can't do the
Mhm.
scene, whatever. But with WhatsApp, you can. So if I would send something and then she didn't answer, but then I see it says active, like, who the fuck are you talking to?
Right.
Mm.
Like you see, I sent you something. And listen, it is what it is. I'm not, I'm not the center of her universe,
Mhm.
and I have to understand that. But I
This
thought some
sucks.
crazy shit, man.
I get
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
I thought some crazy shit, and luckily that filter in front of my mouth is very strong.
Mhm.
You fought through it though, and look where you at today.
Yeah, but I mean, I talk to her all the time. I said, babe, what happens? Like when you text me, as soon as you hit send, you just throw your phone into
That's
a
how-
fucking river.
and-
Like, what is taking so long?
And
Yeah.
if this brings you any solace, this is literally across the board. Every woman does this. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to generalize. I'm not trying to sound sexist, but every woman does that shit, yo. Because I've literally said the same shit. I'm like, yo, do you like text me and then like throw your phone under the bed? Do you like hide it and like try to challenge yourself to find it later? Like, what are you doing? Like, what?
I think it's a test in a way. I feel like they're trying to maybe test like your patience or maybe like.
But why? Why?
I don't
And
know.
why do they all do that
I don't
shit?
know.
Because you know why? Because the older generation tells them, "Oh, you got to make it. You can't be too easy. You know, you can't. You got to make them chase you a little bit." That's what the older generation
probably
tells
what it
the
is.
younger generation. It's true. You know, but it's just like us. It's just like men. We get bad info from older generations, and we like, why the fuck are we doing this shit?
Right.
I
It's
like
not
to be
working.
chased though. I purposely don't text back sometimes. I want to see if you'll double text me. And if I don't text you back after the double text, then we'll see what happens on the third one.
So let me ask you this: what are you learning from that? Like, what are you gaining from that? I know, and I'm not saying it to be.
No,
I'm
no.
not-
I like to, because like I'm very genuine and I'm very consistent.
Okay.
So I need to see if your interest level and your consistency level is the same.
Mhm.
So I want to see where your head is at. I want to see how bad you really want my attention because it's worth something, you know. And this
Mhm.
way I've recognized your time is worth something when I'm initially trying to get to know you.
Mm,
So I want to see. I like reciprocation, you know.
Mhm.
that's fair.
No, that's 100% fair.
And it's maybe that's a bit toxic, but and I don't do it through every girl, but first of all, I don't know. I get really bored. Like I don't like to text and shit all the time. Like FaceTime me, call me,
Mhm.
whatever. Let's go out.
Yeah.
But like if you can't really keep my attention, I'm just gonna go to someone else.
Mm.
Now, you mentioned before, like even you mentioned this last time you guys were here.
Mm.
You were saying you've been accused of like manipulating
Yeah.
girls like that. You think that maybe stuff like that plays into it?
Yeah, that's definitely like form of manipulation that I'm still working through.
Mhm.
Honestly, like I'm in a space right now. I'm talking to somebody I'm really feeling like finally for the first time in a minute. So I think that type of behavior that manipulative behavior is kind of just like a reflection of my desire to find someone consistent and just
Mhm.
solid. I guess like maybe I was just trying to work through whoever I was talking to, all the people I was talking to at a time, and just trying to just have fun with it because I felt like I wasn't in a space where I wanted to be with one of them consistently.
Mhm.
So I was just having fun with it, but that's some toxic shit.
Well, I mean, I found that if you're with somebody who you're not like totally head over heels for, that you're like totally invested in,
Yeah.
you know, it's easy to kind of get caught up in games like that sometimes. Like, what the fuck? I don't need you. Like,
Yeah.
why are you fucking with me like this? Why are you making me wait? Why do you send me a text and then
Why?
and I send you a response right back and then you make me wait 3 hours?
Right.
Like,
What
why
is
are you
the
doing
point
this?
of that? Like,
Yeah.
I just it just bothers me because I don't logically understand why. It's like, especially if we're having a good conversation, I'm obviously trying to get to know you. You're showing me interest. Like, I've had one particular person that I met at a singles event. Got their fucking number. We hit it off. We're like, oh my God, finally met somebody like you. And all this shit. You know what I'm saying? Ended up talking like every day after that event for like 3 days, like texting, calling. It was just lit. Then one day, and we even set a date for that next weekend. Then one day, I texted her and she didn't reply. I'm thinking, hey, you know, maybe she's having a busy day. You know, she's a business owner and stuff. You know, it is what it is. So I waited until nighttime and I gave her a call. Yeah, it rang and it rang. Then it went to voicemail. So at that point, I was just like, all right, cool. Maybe she had a long day. She'll hit me up tomorrow. Never heard from her again, guys. Then I hit her up one day, and I've already moved on, talked to different girls, but I was just curious because I just didn't understand. I had texted her one day, and I was just like, I don't know if you're going through something or if I came off too strong, but I just want to know, like, are you still interested? And she replied to that message and she said, no, it was nothing like that. I'm gonna call you tomorrow and we'll talk about it. So I'm like, yeah, I would love that.
No call, all right?
Never call.
See, now this is something that has always drove me nuts. What is it about people? And, you know, obviously for me, it's always been girls because I have never dated a guy, so I can't say what it's like on the other end. But why do people always feel like they have to like sugarcoat stuff for you? They can't just tell you like,
What
listen,
it is.
I'm not really that interested.
Let's
Like,
keep
it's,
it
you know,
real.
I'm sorry. It's nothing against you. It's just you're not for me. You know what I mean?
Just keep it real.
Why is it so hard for people to say that? Instead, they think of every excuse in the book to beat around the bush instead of just telling you what's really happening. They say, oh, no, everything's cool. It's not you. So listen, yeah, it's you. It's not that you're bad. You're not what I'm looking for. You know what I mean?
Those
And
are the
that's,
same type of people who say, I want someone who's real. I want someone who's
Exactly.
consistent.
Yeah.
But they don't give it. Like,
Exactly.
they want what they don't give. And I think a lot of women need to understand you need to be in a place where you're comfortable within your own skin and actually provide the things that you want instead of wasting people's time and try to ask for something that you want that you don't even give.
People always talk about they want consistency and they want honesty. Guys, I am consistency and honesty in the flesh. And I am telling
Brutally
you,
honest, this guy right
like,
here.
I'm telling you, man, like, these women are, they just, like, I don't know what it is. It's like you could do everything right, and it's just some type of disconnect, you know? And then there's another chick that I'm talking to. For some reason, every time we're about to link up, every freaking time, she shows up like 3 or 4 hours late.
Same
Jesus.
Still?
Yes.
Listen, I mean, I get it. Like, you could start seeing someone, and then after like a month or two, you're just like, I don't think this is for me.
Right.
Like, that happens. And it's like, again, it's not a reflection on the person. Like, I've dated girls, they were great girls, but it's not what I was looking
It
for.
wasn't there.
Like, I'm not feeling it. Like,
Just wasn't there.
realistically, you're gonna make someone very happy.
Right.
I'm just not the guy.
Yeah.
And again, like, you just gotta. It's hard. I guess it's hard to just put yourself out there and be like, listen, I'm sorry, I don't want to hurt you, but I'd rather be honest with you, just kind of pull the Band-Aid off, because I know for me, for many years, I would always get that from girls. Like, they would say, no, you're great. Like, it's just
Beat around the bush.
Yeah, they beat around the bush, and they never tell you. So now I'm trying to figure out. Clearly, it's got to be me because I keep having the same thing over and over.
Yeah.
So what am I doing that's fucking this up? And then you become like hyper aware, like you're like paranoid and neurotic about shit. Like, fuck, I'm doing this wrong. Am I calling her too much? Should I not text back? Should I call her too fast?
Yes, that's me.
And then you second guess everything you do, and then you're even worse. Then who the fuck wants to be with someone like that?
Exactly.
That's
why now, and it's so fucked up because when you stop giving a fuck, that's when they start wanting your attention.
But it has to be genuine.
Yeah.
That's the rub.
When
you can't fake that.
No, when you genuinely just don't give a fuck,
Mm-hmm.
like it's so annoying. Like, it really is. Like,
Yeah, and like that's when they recognize what they losing or lost. Like they realize that, I had someone who was consistent, someone who was cool, and I didn't really give him the proper time that he needed.
that happened with one of the girls that I was just talking about, the one that I did the social media shit with. Yeah, so like one day I invited her over for dinner or whatever, and she said
Did you cook for her?
Yeah, of course.
What'd you cook?
I had made salmon, some red rice and beans,
Okay.
and some string beans. So she said she'd let me know how she feels after work. So I'm like, all right, cool. She gets off at 4, whatever. I'm thinking she'd hit me up. She never hit me up, so I hit her up at like 6:30. I'm like, hey, how you feeling? Never replied. She replied at 11 o'clock at night, 11:30 at night, and says, I'm good. How are you?
Disrespectful. Don't do that to me.
Yeah. To act like nothing happened.
Don't do that.
I didn't reply.
Yeah,
I
no,
wouldn't
don't.
reply.
I
yeah.
didn't reply.
I might have blocked your number if that was me. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I didn't reply.
And I think you'd be 100% justified if you had blocked your number.
I think
Yeah.
I would.
That's not cool. That's
That's
not
not cool. You know what I'm saying? It's just not cool. I completely ignored her after that, but then I realized that she accepted my request on Instagram. She started watching my stories again, and then, now we're going out tomorrow. She's hot, yo. I can't fucking lie. So,
Incidentally, she's here. Come on in.
that would be dope.
I've been stood up before. I've been stood up like out in public, like sitting there waiting.
Tell us one of the stories.
That's embarrassing, man. That's embarrassing.
Here. We're here. We're vulnerable.
This is a pot amongst men.
Yes.
Yeah,
There's no women here to judge
I
you.
might have told this story before, but I don't know. You guys haven't heard it. I was, this is a time when I was single, and I was with my job. I don't meet many women. You know what I mean? Like, I work in construction. It's all dudes. So I was trying to find someone. I've always kind of been the single guy amongst my friends, and I was always wanting to settle down. So I was on like the dating sites and stuff, like like Tinder, Plenty of Fish, and OkCupid and all that bullshit. So I matched with this girl on like Plenty of Fish or something, and we set out. She's cute. She's from like Clinton, so not too far, but like a half-hour drive. So we're gonna meet up. Let's go get just coffee, no pressure. Nothing big. We're just hang out, bullshit for like an hour, and we'll see what we feel. So we were supposed to meet up in Clinton in like the little Main Street area at this coffee shop. So I get out there. It was like 6 o'clock or something, summertime, so it's still light out. So I'm waiting there. And I don't have her number. I only like talked to her through the app. Like 15 minutes, nothing. I get a message. And she's like, oh, I'm running late. Sorry. Like, I'll be right there. No problem. No problem. Like, she's keeping in touch. It's a good sign.
Right.
I can forgive that. No big deal. That's like 6:30. Nothing. 6:45. Nothing. I'm still sitting in my car at this point. Like, I was waiting for her to pull up. So now I'm like, fuck, I'm getting tired of sitting here. I'm not going to let the car run. I'm just walking around. Now I'm walking around like a fucking creep. Still nothing. So finally I get another message from her. She's like, I'm so sorry. I got pulled over. I was trying to rush to get there. Like, I'm on my way. I was like, okay, it happens. Again, she's reaching out. She's trying to keep me in the loop.
Right.
I get it. No big deal. Happens to the best of us. So now it's been an hour. And now she's still not there. I'm like, don't you live like one town over? What the fuck is going on here? So finally, like, I sent a message. I'm like, hey, like, are you still coming? Because it's been a long time. No response. And I'm like, I'm fucking out here walking around like a fucking weirdo. And you're giving, now I know it was all a lie.
From the beginning.
Like, you went out of your way and lied to me.
Yeah.
And now I feel like shit. Because, you know, I hate to break it to you. They weren't beating down the door to try to get in touch with me. So, and I mean, it's fucked up because it's one of those things, like, I was in real good shape at the time. Not like now. But, you know, I was working out. I was making money. Like, I was a good-looking kid.
Doing your shit.
Yeah, like, on paper, it should have been no problem.
Right.
You were the catch.
But I had a real hard time finding someone.
Why do you think that is? Because I feel the same way. Like, you can ask this guy, because I tell him all the time, like, man, I feel like I got so much going for me, but it's so hard to find a good match. Or sometimes it's so difficult for a woman to find a woman that will even take the opportunity to just get to know me, like hang out with me and
Pick
actually
this up a little bit so we can hear you.
actually hang out with
There
me
you
and
go.
get to know me. You know, like it's
Mhm.
always some type of like barrier, just always some kind of obstacle stopping them from being consistent and just being willing to get to know me. And this girl that I told you guys about, the Instagram girl, she told me something that made me realize what might be the reason. I have, I guess, this image or this perception that I'm a player.
I mean, listen, this is only the second time we've hung out. I could take a guess. I mean, if you, like I'm saying, like on Instagram, like, you know, the pictures of the girls and stuff like that, like, it sends a certain very specific message. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's...
But what do I always say when we have these conversations? I say it's not like you. It's like it's them. Like, I feel like the type of person we're looking for, the person we're gonna settle down, we're not gonna find. They're gonna find us.
Yeah.
We're the person who's on our level will find us.
Yeah.
You know?
And they'll be relieved when they find
But
us.
I do agree with Shorty. I don't think it's like advertised on your Instagram, but your music is kind of raunchy. You talk that freaky shit. And like outside of that, like you're an influencer on
Right.
Instagram. Like I think that perception is just like
You got a lot of followers.
that's what I'm
too,
saying.
man.
It's like and it's
They
all
see that
organic.
number, yeah, and they
It's-
think,
I think I underestimated that power
You know?
of what that Instagram can do when it comes to dating, because I literally did not realize that was one of the reasons why certain women were. Because I'm telling you, I would DM girls who are watching my story, they're liking my pictures, and I'm
Mhm.
just like, hey, I'm giving them mad respect. I'm just like, hey, how you doing? I see that you watch my story a lot. I know I'm a complete stranger, but I just, want to know if we have a
you're reaching out to them.
all the time. Yeah.
The player bells aren't going off in your head. Listen, let me talk. My friend Bobby. Shout out to Bobby and shout out to Dom and Hash the Three Ninjas. But Bob, he had like a kind of like a meme page where he would make all these edits and stuff like that. Like, people get knocked out and all this funny shit. But he's got like over 100,000 followers on Instagram.
Dope.
And he would always say, like, his girl would look at him funny. He's like, I know the girl's always trying to hit on you. And he's a handsome guy. He's tall with the fucking long beard. I mean, I'm sure his girl was not wrong. Like, there was plenty of women. That's why they call him the Juggerthought.
The Juggerthought.
Yeah, it's the Juggerthought, bitch. But that number actually makes a difference. I mean, and we look at like, oh, social media, it's fake, it's all bullshit. But that equates into real world things and the behaviors and emotions and stuff like that. So people see that, they think, oh, he's somebody. You know what I mean?
I keep my shit low. You'll never know what I'm going on. Unless I tell you.
And then I've thought about maybe I have a totally different result if I had a Finsta. And I just started a fake Insta, not fake Insta, but a different Instagram, just like a personal one where I'm just not following that many people. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like, yo, like I didn't realize, like, I'm like, damn, that probably does really intimidate some people and just make them think that I'm unobtainable. And I'm like, yo, I'm just a very real, humble person. Like, I have to promote myself. You know, that's my image, that's my brand. So, of course, it's going to look like the highlights of my life. You know what I'm saying?
This is what it is in its nature.
Yeah.
Comes with the territory.
I remember one time I hung out with a chick who I met off of Instagram, and I told Jeff this. I swear to God, she asked me. She said, "Are you rich?" And I laughed so hard. I was like, no, I'm not rich. No. I am not. And I was just like, yo, that's crazy how social media really makes people believe certain things.
Yeah.
My DM's been going crazy all day.
I bet.
Yeah.
Well, you're famous now, man.
Yeah, what?
How did you do that?
It's over.
Hey, are you free next
You
week?
Photoshop that shit.
You know what I mean? Like,
You want to get some coffee?
You want to come
There's
over
some
and watch a
offers.
movie?
All right, Netflix and chill.
Yo, I got a I don't want to say a proposition, but a DM, I guess, to hang out from someone who actually curved me, who saw the billboard.
Oh shit!
Are you gonna give them a chance? Is she bad?
I don't know who's gonna listen to this podcast, so I can't answer that question.
You don't have to give any names. Yeah.
Is she bad?
Yeah.
He's like, of course. He's like,
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah.
I ain't
But it's
gonna-
just funny. It's just funny just to see, and like taking this off me for a second. Like we're all growing individually in our own rights, you know. And I feel like we're naturally going to attract more of a female fan base, and it's just interesting to think, just to see like their perception of you change the more you ascend. You know,
So true. It's so true. It's so fucking true.
crazy.
I can't wait for certain girls that I always wanted to try and get at me. I'm gonna give some of them a shot if I'm single.
Right.
But some of them, oh, I'm curving the fuck out of them.
Wait, so how old are you guys? You guys
I'm
is
29.
I'm
29.
28.
all right. I mean, I'm not. I'm a little bit older than you guys, but
Like a decade.
no, I'm 36. All right.
I'm joking.
I know I get the salt and pepper and everything. But that's just because kids do that.
No, you're the OG. We respect you.
No, what I mean is though, it's amazing how shit changes in a short amount of time. You know what I mean? So like when I was 20, from the time I was like 21 to the time I was about 26, like I used to play in bands and shit, and it started off, I was playing like in a metal band, like see the picture up there, like that was when we were young and fucking stupid. But then, I started doing like other bands and played cover bands. Cover bands, you're going out to all these bars, everybody's drinking, you're playing songs they love. You don't have to worry about writing shit. You just like,
You
oh,
just
I
gotta
like
know
that
the
song.
words,
They like
yeah.
it. Let's just play it.
I think I would like that more.
I did like it more.
Yeah.
And you're out, everybody's partying, everybody's having a good time. And I don't know, like the things I wanted then, I got to do a little bit. I got to live wild, live single and free and do whatever the fuck I wanted. And then I got it out of my system. I could honestly say I had my party years. I had my wild times. I got to play on big stages. I got to play at places that I always dreamed about playing as a fucking cover band. Like,
That's tough.
I remember I went to see Pat Benatar at the House of Blues when I was younger. I got my buddy tickets because we loved like oldies, like 80s shit.
Of course.
We ended up getting to play at that same House of Blues, the one in Atlantic City at the Showboat,
Full circle.
because they were doing like a showcase, and what they would do is they would have cover bands come in, and all the club owners would come to the show, and they'd say, okay, I like that band, that band, that band, and they would book them at wherever they owned bars and stuff. So we got to play there. I was like, fuck. Like, I'm sitting there, and my best friend Drew, he was my guitar player, and he was with me when we went to see that show. I was like, they were fucking standing right here, like going out to shows, and like one time, I'm sorry, babe, if you watch this. I apologize to my wife because she's never heard the story. But we were playing in Boston, and I was like, again, I was in good shape. I was a good-looking kid, I'm playing, and then there's these pretty girls in the front row, and the girl's like, she's saying like that, like as I'm playing, I'm like, what's up? And she grabs my shirt and starts like kissing me as I'm playing.
Wow.
I was like,
Fire.
that was pretty cool.
That is cool.
I never saw her again, never heard anything. I never even got her name.
Yeah.
I mean, that was cool though. But like I got that shit out of my system.
Right.
And now like in my mind I was like, all right, I'm ready to. I wanted to settle down. Like I'm not one of those guys that's like gonna have the midlife crisis at like 40 years old and go buy a Corvette and like start going to rubbing tugs and shit.
Right.
I gotta
But-
find one of those.
I mean,
I think,
I don't really know where I was going with all that. I was just kind of reliving some glory days.
First
That was
off,
good.
that was fire.
That
First
was.
off, I feel like if me and CR's conversations that aren't recorded on the podcast ever came out, we would be super successful and probably canceled simultaneously. But we have these conversations all the time because I feel like we're kind of naturally, I'll speak for myself, I know I am, but I feel like you kind of are too. We're naturally transitioning to our position in life where we want to just settle down.
Mhm.
We're on the cusp of like real true success, and like our entrepreneurial journeys I think are really kind of just fully beginning again, or they're reinventing themselves.
Mhm.
But we're kind of getting to that phase too, where like we could hoe around all day, but that's just getting old.
Yeah.
Just
We
getting
want
old.
something that's real, something that's solid. Like as we're getting older, we want someone, and we experience more, we get more success. We want someone to share that with,
Exactly.
We want someone we can come home to after a long day of going hard, that we could just settle down with, not even think about work. You know what I mean?
Let me
Exactly.
tell you this: there's nothing like a good partner, man.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking like some guys, they're dating this fucking the chick that the barfly chick that she fucks great, everything's fun, we have a good
No.
time.
Right.
But is that somebody you want to settle down with the rest of your life? Like,
Right.
is that a partner, someone who's going to have your back, someone who's going to help make you better? Because with my wife, I got lucky because she's a beautiful woman,
Right.
but she's got a great head on her shoulder. She's got a great heart, and that to
Rare.
me
That's
was the
rare.
big thing, because she's one of those people. She would give you the shirt off her back to help you.
Mhm.
Like she may say, "I'm not going to help you anymore," and then you really need it. It's like, okay, come on, let's go.
Wow. Okay.
Like she's one of those people. She's just a selfless person, and she's organized. And I tell you what, if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't have any of this shit.
Mm.
I would have not a single thing here.
That's
So I give her all the credit in the world. But I got lucky and I found the right one.
You didn't get lucky. You deserved it because you went through so much shit in your life. And
I did some shit too.
I
I did some shit.
But look, nobody's fucking innocent, right?
That's
We're
true.
all men. You know what I'm saying?
You know,
Nobody's
I
fucking
ghosted
innocent.
somebody one time.
And she needed
s-
you.
We've
I still
all
feel
done
guilty
that,
about that.
you
I
know?
still feel guilty. I ghosted someone one time.
Man, fuck that.
It happens, dog. Like
She was nice. She didn't deserve it.
Yeah.
But I was just being a pussy. I didn't feel like dealing with it. But anyway, I'm sorry. She's not watching this, and
Man,
Whatever.
I just hope to be able to just I will. I can't wait to say what you're saying tonight
yeah.
in reference to your wife and just the relationship
Yeah.
you guys have, because that's really inspiring to me. I didn't grow up seeing like solid, stable relationships in my household. The only versions of real true love I saw were the sensationalized versions through television and movies, right?
Mhm.
But to get to know and talk to people like you who have a real solid foundation at home is really inspiring to me. So I want to thank you
no, my pleasure.
for sharing that.
For real.
Happy you guys came out here on a Saturday night.
Hell
course.
yeah.
Have a few adult beverages, shoot the shit.
Today's technically my Sunday. I gotta go back to work Monday or tomorrow. Sundays are my Monday for work, so
All right.
it's like a school night for me.
You got to get out of here anytime soon?
Fuck no, I'm
Okay,
here.
okay.
We're here.
Chilling.
I'm
All
gonna
right.
get drunk.
Drunk-er.
No, I'm not drunk at all.
Liar.
Fuck off. No, you've seen me. Come on.
Oh man, he's the funniest drunk person, bro. Like he's
Are
Jeff.
you a funny, a loving drunk?
No, no, no.
What kind of drunk are
That
you?
could be annoying.
He's an arrogant. I'm talking shit.
I
I
chest puffed out.
yeah. I'm
drinking that
like,
tough juice.
I'm Caesar.
He ain't lying. I ain't
No,
denying it.
But it's so funny because if you really know who he is, it's just like, yo, where the fuck did this come from? Like,
Isn't
no,
that
but,
funny?
but that's me at my core. I
yeah,
feel.
that's your
It
true
brings
self.
out
Yeah.
who you are.
It's his true self.
But on the surface, regularly when I'm sober, I'm very
Be humble.
nonchalant and chill.
Yeah.
Mm. What kind
Kind of humble.
What kind of drunk are you, CR?
Me, I am just even sillier than I am when I'm regular, bro. Like
Is it goofball?
I'm a fucking goofball. I'm laughing. I'm doing stupid shit. Not stupid shit that's annoying, but just like silly shit. Like I don't know, man. I don't know how to explain it. Like
He becomes way more witty. Like the wit is quicker.
Really?
It's way quicker as opposed to normal.
I love talking and just having comebacks and sarcasm. Like it's just so fluid when I got a little liquor in the system.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun.
I'm an emotional drunk.
Oh,
All the love comes out.
You did just start
You
talking
start
about your wife.
reminiscing on
emotionally.
shit.
No, I might. I mean, I'll do it. Watch, I'll fucking gush over her and give her all the praise and well. She's not gonna watch this episode.
You're gonna call her when we leave here tonight. You're gonna be like, I miss you so much.
Nah. I was looking forward to having the house to myself for all this time, and I could see another day or two, and I'm gonna be like, yeah,
Ready for her to come.
I mean, I lived on my own for like 9 years straight, like alone. Never had a girlfriend live with me, nothing. I had a girlfriend stay over every once in a while, but nobody ever lived with me. Never had a roommate.
That's
nothing.
how I am right now.
Speak to that a bit though, because that transition from living single and being alone to marriage, like that's a real commitment. You're sacrificing your independence a bit.
So we didn't talk about this last time you guys were here, right?
Nah.
So Raymond, my producer in training, so to speak, he's my wife's cousin. So I met my wife. I was at a bachelor party in New Orleans. Like we met, like 13 guys. We went down. We were just having a good time. She was in New Orleans that same weekend for her best friend's bachelorette party, and we ended up meeting at a bar. She lives in Miami. She's Cuban. She moved to the U.S. in like I think '01. So like we met. I'm like, she is like,
She's bad.
Did you ever watch Scrubs?
No.
All right, there was a scene in Scrubs, and I always refer to this because this is exactly what I did. Me and my best friend Drew, the guy on the far left of there, looks like a girl. He didn't look like a girl this weekend, but we were obsessed with Scrubs. So either way, she walked in, and I literally grabbed his leg. I was like, "Oh my god, don't look now! The hottest girl in the world just walked in the bar." I'm like, "She's so hot, I'm gonna make a scene." But like, it was one of those things where like, "Oh my god, like that's the most beautiful girl I've ever seen." And just so happens, like I didn't say anything that time, because it was like the first day, and some one of the other guys with us like was trying to like spit game to them and fucking scare them off. I was like, there was only 3 of them, the 3 girls. I was like, way to go, asshole!
Right.
Way to go! You ruined it for me. I saw them the next day. We were at Pat O'Brien's, which is like you ever heard of the drink, the Hurricane?
Yeah.
Like this is where they say it was originated. That's where they came up with this drink.
Yeah.
They have a big patio, so it's all outdoor seating, and this is like a ton of people. Everybody's got tables. It's not like bar. It's all tables, like a patio. So I see them. I was like, oh, shit. Like, I was in the piano. They have a piano bar inside. So I was in there singing, like, Tom Jones and shit like that with people. Like, and I come out. I see them. I was like, oh, I'm going to – this is my chance. I'm going to go talk to them. And, again, like, I'm not – like, I'm a good – I felt like I was a good-looking guy, but I always had bad luck. I'm like, whatever. This weekend, I'm just going to go out there and do my thing. So I went up. I was like, hey. I started talking to them. I don't even remember what I said. Long story short, I'm going into way too much detail. Nothing ever happened. I didn't even get to hang out with him aside from that first like 20 minutes.
Waste of your time.
No, but I got like the one girl, the bachelorette. She's like, "Oh, here, take my phone number and call us. We'll all hang out later tonight." Okay, great. Never heard from them. All right, figure whatever. So I'm out there partying, getting drunk. I was like, "All right, too bad. I guess I'll have to find someone else." So the next day, I get a text from some random number, and it's the bachelorette. She was saying, "Hey, I'm so sorry. We never called you. Like it was not on purpose. I lost my phone. It's not my number, obviously. Like I was able to back up my contacts and stuff like that. So like, I just want to apologize. Like, yo, it's no big deal. Like I appreciate you reaching out. That was a classy thing to do. I'm like, it was too bad. I wanted to get to put the charm on your friend Betty there." And she's like, "Oh, well, you're in luck because this is actually her number I'm texting you from." I was like, "Oh shit." I was like, "So is it cool if I keep in touch with her?" And she says, "Yeah, she's looking forward to that."
Oh, I know your heart dropped.
I was showing everybody. We were on the bus back to the airport. I'm like, "Yo, remember the chick from that place?" So now, but keep in mind, she lives in Miami.
Right.
We live in Jersey.
Right.
Not only is that
hard.
long distance, that's long distance.
Oh,
So we start talking. Everything's cool. Like she's beautiful. She's great to talk to. Smart girl. That was September. In October, she was like, "Hey, listen, I'm coming up to New York City for a weekend. Like, I'm with some friends, but if you want one night, would you want to meet up or something?" Fuck yeah. I was thinking of a word quicker than yes. So we went on a date. We went out. We walked along on like the High Line and shit. I took her to the top of the Empire State Building.
Fire.
Had a nice meal. We had the best first date ever. And that was history.
You had to go hard because she didn't live near you.
Yes.
You had to make
And
it
she
happen.
was easily,
impressed.
like, to this day, still, she is the hottest woman that's ever talked to me.
Mm.
That's ever even spoken a word to me.
Mm.
And then, like, we kept in touch a little bit. I went down there. My mom moved to Florida, so I went down to visit her for Thanksgiving. And my mom's only like an hour north of Miami, so I hit her up and, "Hey, I'm not too far. Do you want to meet up again?" She's like, "Absolutely." So we went out again. Had a great time. Literally, I got back, and she was like, "Hey, so my friend that was Charlene that was getting married, they're having the wedding in Jamaica. Like, I don't really have a date. I know this is last minute, but I just want to throw this out there. Like, if you wanted to come, like, I would love to have you as my date.
Wow.
Single guy, working, making money. I was a new foreman on the job. I had some cash.
Hell yeah.
I was like, I am there.
Right.
Yes.
So this is like a week and a
that's
half
great.
before, and I had to go buy a new suit and like shit.
Nice.
So I went to the wedding in Jamaica, and then we made it official. Like, all right, so can I call you my girlfriend? She's like, yeah, I would like that.
Oh.
And then, we just.
Rest is history.
But I mean, for 2 years straight, I was doing long distance back and forth. And I don't want to make her pay for flights because I just felt like that's a lot to ask of somebody. I'm like, but I want to actually try and see what's here. So we tried to wait. It was like from the first week of December. Then I didn't see her again until Valentine's Day. And I was like, yo, I flew down there. I was like, that was too long. Like, let's shorten this span up. So what ended up happening is every 3 weeks I would fly down to Miami. So I would leave work at 2:30, rush to Newark Airport, fucking change in the car. I had my bag packed. I would park in the long term, like the commuter lot, or not the commuter lot, the long, whatever it is, the long term, and take the shuttle bus to the terminal, and I would fly down for the weekend, and this every 3 weeks for 2 years straight. So then finally, the next year in September, it was almost exactly a year. It was a little more than a year after we met. I proposed.
Wow.
And then she was like, yes. And then we just she said yes. And then we really never addressed so what are we going to do? Like, how are we doing this? I live in Jersey. You live in Miami. So it ended up, I got a job up here at the house already. And she was like, yeah, I'm going to come up there. And she has a son, my son, Tyler. He's 10 years old now. And I couldn't have asked for a better kid. Could not have asked for a better kid.
Wow.
Like, we got along right away. You know why? The first thing, when I met him, he comes up and he had the iPad. He just turned 5, and he's playing a Ninja Turtles game. He said, you ever heard of Ninja Turtles? It's like, you are in luck, little man.
You have no idea. I know the fuck out of Ninja Turtles.
Bro,
love that.
I know everything about them.
Look at the colors on the mics.
That fucking.
Oh yeah.
You notice
shit.
that?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Oh my god.
You sitting on Raph and Leo right now.
Right now, yeah.
Damn. Rap is actually my favorite. I want to switch with CR.
Yeah. But yeah, so that it took the long way around, but eventually we got married in 2017 in December. Now her and Tyler, they moved up here. So now I went from being alone, living on my own for 9 years straight.
Having a whole family.
Yeah, and now a month after they moved up here, her parents moved up here as well because they're very close.
That's the Hispanic.
It's a
culture.
Hispanic thing, yeah, for
It
sure.
is.
And now I went from having myself to having 4 other people in the house, and it was a major change. That first year was a struggle for both of us because I had a lot to learn. Like I had to change a lot of shit because
Be willing to share your space.
yeah, I had to be willing to share my space and all that stuff, which that probably wasn't even the hardest part. For me, the hardest part was learning the right state of mind and the way to behave. Not in a sense where being faithful was never an issue for me, but I mean having each other's back, because my instinct is if someone's wrong, I'm like, yo, why are you doing that? But if that's my wife, I will never question her in front of other people. You know what I mean?
You have to have a united front.
Yeah, but I had to learn that because that wasn't my first instinct, and that put us in some very awkward, uncomfortable situations.
I can imagine.
And that was my fault,
Yeah.
And at first I didn't understand it, but when she explained it, I was like, fuck.
I get it.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Even now, I should probably apologize because I put her in some very shitty situations that I would have been upset if somebody put me in.
But I'm glad she was respectful of the learning curve.
But it was, like I said, it was a learning curve for both of us.
Yeah, both of you, but vice versa. You guys are respectful of each other's learning curve.
It got a little dicey for a little bit, but like I said, she's a good woman and she stuck with me. She gave me a chance to learn. I'm still learning.
Of course.
I mean, it's never you never know everything. You're never there. You know what I mean?
And people always change and evolve, so you're constantly learning new things as well.
Facts.
But I got to give her all the credit in the world because she changed a lot too, and even
Made
her
an
friends and
adjustment.
family have said that. Wow, she
Her
really
whole
changed.
lifestyle changed from Miami to Jersey.
Think about that.
Yeah.
And especially not being a native English speaker,
Yeah.
or her
That
parents.
says a lot about how much she loves you.
Yeah.
You know?
You know how many fucking people I work with said that's never gonna happen. She's never gonna move. Who's gonna move from Miami to New Jersey?
Fuck off.
Fuck you.
Yeah.
Fuck you. Your mother's ass. How about that?
Hating ass.
Yeah.
Hating ass. That's what happens. Negative people, man. I swear.
That's what makes
Yo.
it more rewarding when those things work out. You know?
Mhm.
That's what's up, man. Damn, that's a beautiful story,
Yeah.
man.
I said it's inspirational, bro. Like I really
Inspirational.
I crave a story like that to tell, not just my friends, but like my kids, like how I met your mother type
Yeah.
shit.
But
I-
you know what though?
mm.
It was a lot of work, man. There was a lot of times when I could have easily just
It wouldn't
you
have been
know,
as fulfilling if it
I
wasn't
could have
work,
just.
bro.
I'm like, you know what? Why are we doing this? Why are we spending so much energy and time on this? But we both didn't. We both stuck with it.
Right.
I had a similar situation, but I ended it. I was dating somebody who lived in another state. We met in college. We both went to college in New Jersey. I was at Jersey City. She went to Seton Hall. We met at a party in Newark. Prettiest girl that I mean,
It's
when
your second Newark story tonight, okay?
it's something about these girls from the hood. I don't know, man. They just do something for me. But I went to a party. It was a fraternity. It was the Alphas. They were throwing a party. So I went there, no intentions to really like, look for a girlfriend. I was single and I was mingling. I was out here having fun. I just got my nose
Out
pierced.
there living.
Yeah, I
Just
felt
got
like
my nose pierced.
I felt like Chris Brown.
That's the highlight of this.
I got
the
my
moment.
nose pierced. I felt like Chris Brown. I just turned 24. I'm like, hell yeah, I'm
You gotta
out
be careful
here.
saying you felt like Chris Brown because next thing this story's gonna end up with you slapping.
Oh my god! Fresh off the nose piercing.
Yeah, I got my nose pierced. I was kicking ass.
I hit this girl.
Straight to the cell. Straight to the cell.
Oh shit! But I was with my boy Danny, and he's the party guy at all my friends. So we went there. He had moved to Florida, came back up, and we had got together. I wanted to show him a good time. I'm like, yo, I know this party going on in North. Let's go. It's at the Robert Treat Hotel. We go there. Man, I'm talking about this was the best party I ever been to in my life. I was in such a good fucking mood. Me and him, as soon as we walked in, I cannot make this up. Girls literally grabbed him and grabbed me, and they just started dancing on
It's
us.
a sorority party.
Hey.
Bro.
As soon as we fucking walked in, and it was just so lit. You know what I'm saying? I had so much fun, and then I see this girl, caramel, with some curly brown hair, ripped jeans, ass was looking fat. I'm like, oh shit.
Kind of girl you just want to take her panties and make a soup out
You
of
know
it.
what I'm saying? Make a whole soup.
Keep
So
going.
I pull up on her, no words. Just pull up on her and started dancing with her.
You got
Bruh,
it like that?
no words. Just pulled up on her, started dancing with her. She was dancing on me for like 3-4 songs.
I'm
bruh.
sorry. Is it wrong that I'm picturing the music video for Yeah from by
That's what it was like, though. But that's what it was like. I swear, I wish I had one of those pinstripe button-ups and a
And-
fucking blazer
And
Next thing you know, everybody in the club start doing a synchronized dance.
with the A-Town hat.
by the way, you probably had the worst fit on back then.
I ain't gonna lie.
24 years old. What year is that?
All right, that was 2016.
That was probably the worst fit.
2016. I had on the blue button-up. It was baby blue with black pineapples. And I had,
Nasty.
I was wearing my best Jenko jeans.
I had on some skinny jeans. They were black and ripped. They, and I had on a JLTF hat.
I was wearing
Okay.
lugs boots.
You was a visionary. You had the JOTF.
I had the JLTF hat. So it's just funny because then we ended up, talking, and I actually got more than one girl's number that night, and she saw that, and later on, she asked me, she's like, "What made you feel like you had to get more numbers?" And I kept it real. I was like, "Hey, it's a fucking numbers game, You gave me
Hey,
it."
he who has the most wins.
I didn't know if we were ever gonna really see each other and hang out again. You were the only one that was the most consistent out of all the girls I talked to that night. Ended up being in a 4-year relationship with the girl that I met that night, and we graduated that next year. She moved back home to Maryland, got a job in DC, and I got a car specifically because I wanted to be able to drive out down there to go see her, and that's when I started doing Lyft. And all through that, I just poured so much energy into trying to be with her, trying to be there and show up. And it was so exhausting. I got to a point, and on top of that, I was being faithful.
Mhm.
Like, I was passing up girls, and, I'm a musician. I'm doing podcasts.
But that's a sign. You actually gave a shit. You were
Gave a shit.
invested.
I was totally
You see the difference
invested.
how it naturally it came?
Yeah. And
Right.
it was definitely, worth it because whenever we were together, we had a great time. But things started to fall off when she really got really deep into her job, and it became more demanding, and she would be so tired. She had a very demanding schedule, so it would be like not that much energy left for the relationship.
Yep. In there.
And then on top of there being distance, you know, and then when I was there, I wasn't getting the energy that I needed. I didn't get the affection, the, oh my God, you're here. Like, that's what I needed. But she was already so exhausted from her work week. By that time, she was just ready to sit down and fucking watch TV. And I didn't like that because it felt like she was acting as if I was just there yesterday. And I didn't like that.
Well, that's the problem with dating when you're in your 20s, when you're young. People that they want to pour all their energy into the career, which understandable.
Which is fair.
Yeah, but at the same time, like, how do you expect to have any kind of serious relationship?
Exactly.
Right, yeah.
How can anything survive when you're going to give all your time and attention to the career?
So ultimately, I had to choose myself. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't happy. I was so depressed. I was so depressed because I wanted that love from her. I had other girls available, but I didn't want them. I wanted her. Like, that feeling you had when you saw your wife, that's how I felt when I saw this girl. Like, she was the prettiest girl I ever, like, dealt with, like, from head to toe. It was just so bomb, had a great personality, everything. And later on, as we got to know each other, there was an emotional disconnect, and what I needed, what was a priority for me, wasn't a priority for her.
But you know what, though, at the end of the day, you know, if she had felt the way you felt, then for her to make time to make the relationship work, it wouldn't have been a question.
Right.
So as much as it sucks, as much as it hurts, it's the course it had to run. Like, hey, it was good while it lasted, and it's done now. But if you want to feel a little better, I had a similar thing happen where a girl left me because of her career, but she was a fucking waitress. So, you know, I didn't feel like, oh, great, I feel great now. You know, it wasn't like she had a real job. She just, that was her way of saying, like, yeah, no, I'm not into you anymore. I'd rather go bang other guys.
Shit. Yeah. Ain't never happened to me.
No. I've had some heartbreak in my day.
I never had heartbreak. I never, like, I don't know, like.
Never had your heart broken?
Never?
No, I don't think. I mean,
how do you know who you are? How can you write that book in good faith?
I don't know if I've ever had, like, I've never had a breakup where it wasn't kind of mutual.
Oh,
really?
Okay.
I mean, there's a lot to be learned when you get rejected like that. When you get basically dumped.
Yeah, I've never been. Dumped.
I mean, it hurts, but there's a lot to learn. You find out what you're made of then.
Maybe.
Toughest fucking guy. Next thing you know, he's crying himself to sleep 5 nights a week.
But I've cried during the mutual breakups. I never really wanted it, but I knew my role in that contributed to that breakup. So that was kind of the hurtful part. It's like, damn, I played a role in this shit ending, you know?
But let me ask you this. Was it your idea to end it?
Well, I had thought about it, but yeah, I guess maybe she brought it up first. So maybe I did get dumped in a sense. Maybe she said it first, but I was thinking about it.
Yeah, if you want to get technical.
Yeah.
Like, I can't remember the last time I got dumped. I did a lot of dumping, but it still hurt. Like, my last relationship, I did technically dump her or whatever. But I tried to get back with her, though, at one point, and she was like, just saying, you know, we need to focus on you. And it was just like, I knew once she said it that way, it was just like, yeah. And the fact that she doesn't hit me up unless I hit her up, like, she doesn't ignore me. If I hit her up, she's going to reply. But if I don't hit her up, I'm not hearing from her.
Yeah, she's not drunk texting you and
no,
shit. Yeah.
She's living her life. She's doing what she's got to do. She's back in school, getting her master's. So it's just like.
That's a sign.
It's a sign that she's moving on. She's making it. She's not even worried about dating. She doesn't care about that right now. But the thing is, I already knew and had that vibe when we were in a relationship. I just felt like she wanted the relationship. She wanted the man without the responsibility of the relationship. She enjoyed my company. She enjoyed the sex. She enjoyed having somebody. But the emotional responsibility that came with it.
Yeah, as soon as you need something more from me, yeah, I'm not there anymore.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
And yeah.
I was thinking about this. Like, I think why I've never been dumped, or maybe I don't even acknowledge if I have, is because I emotionally detach before it happens. Like, I feel it. I feel I don't want to be with that person before it actually happens.
You think you see it coming?
Yeah, and I know what I require. I know what I like. I know what I desire in a woman. And once that's not there, and I just notice that there's a pattern of just negative shit happening in the relationship, I emotionally detach before it actually happens. The act of us breaking up happens.
Is that so? That's like, you would say that's your defense mechanism.
Yeah, I like cope with it before it happens, so I don't end up getting really too hurt.
I mean, it's smart. You know, to emotionally protect yourself.
Well, it's not good because, like, once I've emotionally detached before in a relationship, and I started talking to somebody new while still technically in a relationship.
I was just about to say, yeah.
I think the problem is when you start disconnecting, when you think you see something coming,
Yeah, and then you're wrong.
And then even if it wasn't there, you just manifested that.
I do overthink like
Yeah.
crazy. Yeah. So
And what he just said though, if you something that wasn't there, but then you manifest it, has that ever happened where
Now she's dumping you because you disconnected.
right? Because when you disconnect, your behavior changes in the relationship.
Absolutely.
Once you're distant, you're cold.
Yeah, your responses on the text aren't the same. So has there ever been a situation where you had disconnected prematurely to having an actual reason to disconnect?
Right. Yeah. I mean, it was an extension of maybe an argument or disagreement we may have had.
Yeah.
Like again, I've only been insecure in all my relationships. I've just got to this state in mind where I'm healed and comfortable within myself. So I'm pretty sure every part of one of these relationships I could bring up, it was an extension of my insecurity. They may have said something about myself that I thought was wrong because I felt I had a higher understanding of myself, and that caused me to disconnect. But if I was secure enough and comfortable enough to have that conversation and face and accept what she's saying and acknowledge what she's saying and talk it through, I'm pretty sure we could have worked it out. So I've never been in a relationship post not being depressed, post not fully being insecure. So I'm interested to see what happens next.
So you're just now on the other side of all that. You're healed, and that's true.
Healing, but yeah.
You're healing, but you're more healed than you were before.
For sure.
And one of the big things too is that you're aware of a lot of this stuff.
I'm so aware.
So
of
aware.
everything.
That's so much more than so many people can say because you can look back and say and kind of notice like point by point by point, like where I went wrong, where I did something that was fucked up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you can look at that and you can kind of use that as a guideline. Like, okay, don't fall into that trap anymore. Don't set yourself up for this situation.
And we were just talking about this. Like we're so far removed from like our depressed selves.
Mm-hmm.
It's easy to look back on who I was. Like I don't even know what it feels like to be depressed.
I don't even know how to feel like that no more.
Yeah.
I was so depressed. I would not want to wake up and do anything. I would literally get up in my bed, and the weight of my body felt, stupendous. It was just too much. It just felt like I couldn't get out of the bed. It felt like emotionally, like because I was missing her so much. There was times I would just lay in bed and just smoke weed all day and fucking cry and order chicken wings and just
drive your friends crazy. Like, oh, she hasn't called me.
That's the worst thing. I wouldn't. Well, you know what? No, you're right. I did drive my friends crazy. Now that I think about it, you're right.
I'm thinking. Yeah, I think back at my coworkers, like older guys. I come in, like, I haven't heard from her. I'm like, kid, let it fucking go.
Right.
She doesn't want to be with you, kid.
Listen, from
like, move on.
From 33rd Street to North Penn Station, we would have these talks on the PAP train about this shit.
I used to talk about my ex a lot with everybody. I mean, it was heavy on my head.
But you got to go through that.
Yeah.
You got to go through it at some point.
Yeah.
That's
that was
how
my
you
first
know.
time.
Yeah, that's how you know what you're made of.
Yeah.
Like,
And
that's how you see what's really deep in there.
That part right there.
I've told my wife, I've told girls I've dated, I don't respect I don't want to date a girl that's never had her heart broken because then she doesn't respect the power that you have over somebody.
Yes.
When you're really in love with somebody, like what real love is giving someone the power to destroy you and having faith that they won't use it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't respect that power that someone's giving you over them,
Yeah.
then how can you be trusted to use it responsibly?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If people don't know what it feels like. So like, it's just, I love you today and tomorrow I find someone else.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? That's like, well, that's easy for you, but you just fucked my whole world up.
Exactly.
Like I don't want to put myself in a situation where I'm setting myself up for a letdown. Yeah. So you can go make a jerk out of me and post pictures on Facebook of you making out with some other dude on New Year's Eve. That was a little specific, but
that was extremely specific. I'm like, damn, that sounds like a real situation.
Yeah, that shit happened to me. That hurt.
Oh.
That hurt. But you know what? You learn from it. You grow. Now I recognize that. But I could also look back and say, all right, what was I doing in that situation that made that person feel like she needed to get away? Right. You know what I mean? And I was a needy little fucking pussy.
I think when you recognize your part in situations, it kind of makes it easier to deal with.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you don't have to put all the blame on them.
Right.
And you recognize, okay, now I have something I need to work on. I can focus on bettering myself. Right. It's because of that I first got in shape. That's like the third time I talked about that tonight. I'm really feeling fat lately. What? I missed the gym. You know what I miss? I miss boxing. I miss boxing.
Is
so
it the
much.
time schedule that's stopping you from working out?
No, you know what it is? Honestly, it's because the way that I used to work out was not very conducive to having a partner. Like it was the only way that I could do it because of the way my genetics are, I had to go dive in
early in the
head
morning.
first. No, I would always go after work.
Oh.
But it required a lot of time and energy. And because I was single all that time and I had nothing else, I had the time and energy to dedicate to it. But as soon as somebody else comes in the picture, well, that it fucks up the whole program. And it's not that person's fault. It's just that was the way I had it set up.
You can't get like a bag in the corner over there or something?
I've been trying to figure out. I can't do it in here because that's my father-in-law's office over there.
Okay.
And I'm not going to put it here and ruin this. I was thinking about doing something outside, but then that's a whole nother, either way, I missed boxing. But the thing is, I only knew how to do it one way. So now that my whole life has changed, now I have other responsibilities of people that actually want to see me when I get home from work. Like, how do I divvy up that time? So for a while, it was all right. We were working out together. We used to go to Orange Theory.
Fire.
But then the pandemic just shot all that to shit. And then, once we got stuck in the house, then I just let the wheels fall off, Started ordering, 16 boxes of Girl Scout cookies. Drinking straight chocolate syrup in the kitchen.
Some fancy rum over there.
Yo, we talked about this episode 100. Bamboo rum. I guess that's how you pronounce it.
You're feeling it.
I am feeling wonderful. I want to tell you how much I love both you gentlemen. Right?
The emotions coming out.
Yeah.
Let's get emotional. Fuck
You know what I used to do when I was real drunk in a bar?
What?
I would do the Irish goodbye.
What's that?
What you do is everybody's hanging out. We used to go. All right, so we used to go to TGI Fridays at the Somerville Circle. I don't know. That was just our spot for whatever reason. But everybody would be there. Be like, like eight of us there. And like, all right. I wouldn't even say anything. I would make like I was going to the bathroom. Just walk out and leave. Don't say goodbye. Nothing.
What?
I don't know. Made me feel something. Like I would just leave. So one day I did that. I didn't say anything. Just walked out. So my buddy Drew, he calls me up. He goes, "Yo, where are you?" I was just fucking around. I was trying to be a smart ass. I was like, "Yeah, I went to Long Beach Island." He goes, "Yeah, all right, fucker. Where'd you go?" I said, "I went to Long Beach Island." He goes, "Seriously, where the fuck are you, bro?" I was like, "I'm going to Long Beach Island, dude." He goes, "Get the fuck out of here." So I was like, "Fuck this guy. I'm actually doing it now." Like, I wasn't gonna, but now I am. So I drove an hour and a half to Long Beach Island.
What?
I don't know. Something.
Out.
That was a point in my life when I was like, I was trying to figure out who I was. I was trying to figure out what was really going on, why I am the way I am. And I was like, yeah, fuck it. I'm going down. It was like fucking January. It was freezing cold. I went down there because that was the thing. We used to always go down for the summer. We would all rent a house together. I went down, walked around the beach, had my fucking Carhartt jacket on from work, all bundled up, just walking around like, this was 100% worth it. And it was. I don't know. I had to clear my head.
Yeah.
But I was going through my own kind of bout with depression back then. Coming through a rough breakup, just like, what the fuck? What am I going to do with myself? When is this going to get better? You stick with it. Probably will, but it doesn't just happen on its own.
It takes work.
It takes, you said it.
Work.
It's facts. Facts Kellerman.
Yeah.
Like, it takes work and it takes self-reflection. You can't have the ego get in the way because the ego is going to kill everything. It's going to kill any progress, any growth, any way that you can better yourself. Your ego is only going to be an impediment to that.
Yeah. But there are some benefits to your ego, I feel.
Of course he would say that.
I mean, like, I don't know, like, I feel like your ego kind of keeps you on your toes a bit. I feel like it kind of, like, keeps you from losing your balance and losing your confidence sometimes.
I mean, I think there's a difference between ego and self-confidence.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
I agree.
Because the self-confidence, 100%, I would agree with you 100%. You can't just be insecure, second-guessing yourself every step of the way because you'll never get anywhere. But with ego, I don't know, maybe that's just the way I imagine it. Like, ego, I associate with that arrogance, that fucking cockiness. Like, fuck you, bro.
I always say confidence
it's right
is
here.
silence.
It's right here,
Yeah, I always say confidence is silence and ego and arrogance is loud.
By the way, I feel like you're trying to bait my ego to come out a little bit. I feel like you want me to just stunt and I feel like you kind of expecting that from me too.
Yes, I do. I think when you get
that's why he keeps giving you sangria.
Yeah, right.
This is
when he gets his first bag, his first like big check, I already know he's
because like that's actually my next goal in life. I'm like really focusing on like really making 6 figures off this book. So once that shit and it's very possible. And it's going to happen. Once that happens, though, listen, man, you might not be able to book me for a part 3.
Oh, shit.
It's like that.
You big leaguing me, bro? Big leaguing me?
You might have to try.
Already.
No.
That's all right. Me and
He's
CR are going to drink sangria with just the two of us.
Right?
That's
He's
all
gonna
right.
get a new co-host for the show. I'm like, damn, what happened to my job?
CR's going to get another 10,000 followers. You're going to be, yo, fuck you. I'm not coming over no more.
Nah, never.
I only drink Crystal Skull vodka now. Yeah.
Never.
Yo, y'all crazy.
Never. Yo, is there anything on that laptop? My bad. I didn't mean to cut you off.
It's recording.
Oh shit.
It's running Adobe Audition right now.
Yeah, I know what's going on over there, man.
Nah, I usually keep my notes on the phone, but I haven't needed them tonight.
Never need no
freestyle.
Nah, you guys are princes. You know, you make it fucking easy.
Thank you, sir.
But but that's why you guys are content creators yourself.
Yes, we love to.
And it shows. You know, it's one thing like I have like a friend over here. Like I've talked to people like on here that are not podcasters, don't do that shit for a living. So it's not as easy. With you guys, it's a natural, you know, ebb and flow. It's a give and take. You make it easy. So you're another podcaster's dream.
You're not so bad yourself, man. You do a good job being a host here. I'm just
Thank you,
saying.
sir.
You set the vibe, you set the environment, and you totally make us feel welcome every time we come here.
Well, you are welcome.
Yes,
it's not
yes.
trying to make you feel
No,
that way.
we
It's
are.
the truth.
Yeah.
It's genuine.
It was an honor to come back. When you hit me up asking us to come back, I was like, fuck yeah. The first
Hell
time was
yeah.
great. Let's come
I
back.
told you we're gonna do round 2. So, man of my word.
Here we
Honestly, it would be better if we could have music playing in the background when we do the podcast.
Yeah.
But you know,
We got to get you on our show in our
Yes,
studio.
that's next. He had us here twice. We
You gotta come
have to
back.
have him on.
All
April?
right.
Sometime April?
Let me know. I'll be there.
Bet.
All right.
Baby won't be here till the end of May, so I'm free.
All right.
Oh,
bet.
bet.
All right. So let's put a pin in it. Round 3, you'll be on your turf.
All right. Let's
Perfect.
say that.
All right. So before we go, let's give them those plugs. What do you want to plug, guys? All right,
Go ahead. You go.
Jeff,
first.
go ahead.
Yeah. So my first book, The Avenue: A Personal Dictionary, is available on Amazon. It's actually still sold out on Barnes & Noble. We're working on that. So if you go to Amazon.com, type in The Avenue: A Personal Dictionary, you can grab the ebook version for $2.99, the paperback version for $15. Follow me on Instagram at TheAv360, Twitter, THT, That Ambitious Guy. And of course, follow Introverted Intuition at Introverted Intuition Pod on Instagram at introvertedpod.com for all details regarding the show and the host and inquiries and book bookings and merchandise as well. The merchandise link is on there. And yeah, thank you so much for the support. Thank you so much, Steve, for having us back. And CR.
Yes, so please follow me on Instagram at CR_908. I just dropped a new project called Cold Hearted. It's a super, super R&B, soulful, lyrical project. I think a lot of people would love it. I got visuals coming out for the spring and summer. Just be on the lookout for new music coming out, new content. So
Jump out the frame.
Jump out the frame. Shout out to everybody from JLTF. My team is about to go crazy this summer. And yeah, man, follow me, like I said, on Instagram at CR_908.
All right, you guys heard it here. I mean, anybody listening, you already know where to find us. A Pod Amongst Men on Instagram and Twitter. podamongstmen@gmail.com for any long-form questions, comments, or concerns. And if you're watching, please make sure you hit the like button, subscribe. It helps us in the algorithms. And if you're listening, you guys already know where to find us, but you can find us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Podcasts, Spotify, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, wherever you get your podcasts, we are there. So we thank you for joining us. Don't forget, we still got stickers for sale. I haven't really mentioned it in a while. Buy the fucking stickers, guys. I didn't make them for nothing. What the fuck is this?
I got one on my laptop.
You're gonna make a jerk out of me here. What the fuck? All right, anyway, we love you guys. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next week.
Still